right, I show 5:30, so welcome to the September 19th, 2017 board meeting, recess board meeting for the Starkville Board of Aldermen. If you rise, please, we'll say a pledge of allegiance, then we'll have a moment of prayer and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'm sorry, I did not mention it's Chaplain Grant Arender. If you would come up and say the prayer, please, invocation.
Would you please all join me in prayer? Father, first of all, we bow to acknowledge, God, your presence here among us tonight. Father, we pray for this board before us tonight as they lead and guide our city. We pray, God, that you would give them wisdom and character, that you would give them integrity as they lead. Father, tonight I pray for each of them by name. I pray for Henry and Roy and Patrick and Lisa and our mayors, Rule and Chris and Jason and David and Sandra and Ben. Be with them all as they guide us. It's in your Son's name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you. We have our fire marshal who's looking to make sure we haven't exceeded our capacity here. I'm hoping everyone can be in and listen. I see more people filing in. Can't tell you how delighted I am to see everyone in here. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for people to express themselves, and we cherish that. So thank you for being here. Whatever the subject matter you're interested in, thank you very much. We're going to move now into approval of the agenda. We'll start with items on the consent that are proposed for the consent agenda. Does anyone have any changes they'd like to make to the consent agenda? Alderman Walker.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move item 11G3 to consent.
All right, item 11G3 is the discussion consideration of adopting the job description for a processing clerk and authorization to advertise to fill the position of a processing clerk in the Community Development Department. Are there any concerns about that, any discussion about that? Seeing none, we'll show that move to the consent agenda. Any other items or changes? Alderman Little.
Under board business, items A and B, I'd like to move those between citizen comments and public appearances. We've got the guys from Raymond James here from out of town that would like to get back on the road if possible.
Okay.
We can address that early in the meeting.
Okay, so it would be under the board business items, A and B. All right, any objection to moving those forward so that those folks can get on back out of town?
May I be recognized?
Yes, Vice Mayor.
Did he say items A and D?
A and B.
A and B now.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I don't have the right agenda. Maybe might be safe discussion making Glatner Lane a one-way street to the south. Is there a new agenda?
Yes, there should be one.
Well, where is it? I don't have it.
I'm sorry. Here, I have a.
Yeah, I got it now. All these things at the table when I come. Mayor, may I be recognized for another preliminary matter?
Yes, sir.
We need to open the doors back there. These people will come to a public meeting, and we don't need to exclude anybody tonight. There needs to be full participation. So this is an open meeting. We're elected officials. Let's get everybody in here. Open the doors back there.
Chief, I don't know what our capacity is, but we can open the doors, please. And I'm sure that, I don't know what we need to do to hold them open, but surely we can do that, so that'd be great.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, anything else, Vice Mayor?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mayor, where did he want to move these to?
In between citizens' comments and public appearance. Any other discussion about that? Any concerns about that? All right, any other changes to the consent agenda? All right, any changes to the agenda itself? Okay, I need a motion to accept the consent agenda or the official agenda with the consent agenda as the changes have been.
So moved.
All right, I have a motion from Alderman Little. I have a second.
Second.
Second from Alderman Carver. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have the consent agenda and the agenda. Next item up will be.
Mayor,
I'm sorry.
read the consent agenda.
Read the consent agenda. Thank you so much. I'll probably, after the fourth year, I'll probably remember that. I've even got myself a note here. So.
You did it in Alderman Vaughn's
I did.
memory
I did.
on Friday, so she
And
didn't
now
do it
he's
all
here,
in
I
one,
totally,
yeah.
I totally forgot it. I apologize. Okay,
Thank
here we
you.
go. All right, first item on the consent agenda. Of course, part of my problem is I've got a very long agenda that's got lots of spaces in it, so my apologies. Here we go. Okay, is consideration of approving the contract renewal with Cornerstone Government Affairs for the period October 1, 2017 through September 30, 2018. And we have, under department business, we've got Community Development Department Planning, discussion and consideration of LW 17-03, a request for landscape waiver from several sections of the ordinance for a property located on Sproul Industrial Park Road in an M1 zone with a parcel number 102N-00-005.01 with one condition. Item B is discussion and consideration of PP 17-08 and FP 17-06, request for preliminary plat and final plat approval for modifying an existing plat that is 11 plus or minus 11.41 acre parcel located at 100 Mercantile Lane in a T6 district with a parcel number 101D-00-342.00 with three conditions. Under Finance and Administration, we have request approval of the City of Starkville claims docket for all departments, including Starkville Utilities Department, as of September 13th, 2017, for fiscal year ending 9/30/17, acknowledging that the city clerk has attested and certified on the cover of the claims docket that all claims on the docket are true, correct, accurate, lawful, and proper to the best of her knowledge for payment pursuant to her duties under Mississippi Code Sections 21-39-5, 21-39-7, 21-39-17, and 21-15-21. Number two is acceptance of the August 2017 financial statement. Under the Human Resource Department, we have number one, which is authorization to hire Christopher Gregory as a certified police officer in the Starkville Police Department. Number two, request authorization to advertise to fill 2 firefighter positions in the Starkville Fire Department. And the recent inclusion of number three, discussion and consideration of adopting the job description for a processing clerk and authorization to advertise to fill the position of a processing clerk in the Community Development Department. Under the Police Department, we have number one, which is request authorization to enter into the grant agreement for a 75% reimbursable fiscal year 18 Justice Assistance Grant for a funding of equipment at a cost of $3,596.25 to the city. Under the Sanitation Department, we have request authorization to purchase 16 6 cubic yard and 16 8 cubic yard dumpsters from Waste Equip Source of Supply, quote, at a total of $27,606 to include a paw print on painted maroon. Utilities Department is request authorization for Starkville Utilities to enter into an agreement with the Mississippi Department of Human Services Division of Community Service to continue participation in the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIHEAP. And that concludes the consent agenda. All right, from the consent agenda, we will go to announcements and comments. And I'm going to have a number of employee introductions, which I will do first. Actually, no, I won't. Student Association membership, raise your hand. All right, there are a bunch of you. Matt, would you? Oh, you did, okay. All right, if everyone hasn't seen it, this is the peak of Bulldog Bash right here. Taken from the top of the Regions Bank building in downtown on Friday night, September the 15th at about 10:30, I believe it is. This picture is a picture of the stage taken by the artist, Joe Jonas, is that correct? Okay. See, I can know a little bit of stuff. Taken by Joe Jonas from the stage, and it shows downtown Starkville. Now, I posted that to the city website, and I have gotten an incredible number of reactions to that. People have never seen Starkville look like that. Y'all did an awesome job. You really did. It went off pretty much without a hitch. You had a lot of happy people. You had people who were old to young who enjoyed it, and I don't think anyone felt as though they were not welcome, compromised, squished in, didn't enjoy themselves. So I want you to know what an excellent job you did in the planning and in the execution and in the cleanup. I know our sanitation department participated, but you guys had a whole lot of people out there who were doing yeoman's work. And I cannot tell you how remarkable that is and how much I personally hope that you will come back and do it all over again next year. So it was excellent. Thank you very much. So, yes. That's my point of privilege. I get to do that. It was a remarkable weekend for all of us. I know that Max South was very, very generous in allowing us to have access to the behind-the-scenes view of our SEC Nation opportunity. It was just a really exciting weekend, to say nothing of the fact that we won an awesome ball game. So it was a perfect weekend for Starkville, Stark Vegas, and Starkville. So it's just great. So thank you all very much for the participation in that. Now I have quite a list of new employees to talk about and to introduce. So I'm going to do that starting with Victoria Arnold, who is a new Animal Control Officer of the Starkville Police Department. And this particular position is near and dear to my heart because I always call the animal control person to come get stray dogs and cats and stuff. So Miss Victoria Arnold is originally from Mesquite, Texas, and she attended John Horn High School and 2 years at Arizona State before transferring to Texas Christian University, where she received her Bachelor of Science degree in psychology. Previous to here, she was a primary grade 8 and big cat keeper for the Jackson Zoo. Victoria obviously enjoys animals and soccer. She won 3 national championships in soccer during high school. Welcome, Victoria. Next, we have Blake Daniels, who's a firefighter. Blake Daniels is from Starkville. I'll give you a chance to come on up, Blake. We're not in that big a hurry. He's from Starkville and is a graduate of Starkville Academy. Blake is a former firefighter with the Starkville Fire Department. Prior to his return to SFD, he was a process operator at Steel Dynamics. Blake and his wife, Nashay, is that correct?
That's right.
Are the parents of 2 children, daughter Blakely and son Knox. When time permits, Blake enjoys shooting, hunting, and fishing. Welcome, Blake.
Thank you.
Glad to have you back. Next, I'd like to introduce Stephen Coleman with Sanitation Environmental Services. Stephen Coleman is from Louisville, Mississippi. He attended Louisville High School as a graduate of East Central Community College, where he received his associate's degree in liberal arts. Stephen continued his education at Full Sail University, where he earned his bachelor's degree in music production. Where is Full Sail University?
Winter Park, Florida.
Winter Park, Florida. Well, that's a tough spot. Okay. Prior to joining the city of Starkville, Stephen was a substitute teacher for Louisville Municipal School District. He also worked for Walmart and Winston Plywood. Stephen is the father of 1 daughter, Gabrielle. In his spare time, he enjoys music. Stephen is a member of the Pleasant Grove United Methodist Church. Welcome, Stephen. And Nick Fiorentino, warehouse manager for the Starkville Utilities Department Water Division. Nick Fiorentino, is that correct? Am I doing that okay? Oh, good. All right. Is originally from Franklin, Pennsylvania. Nick attended Franklin Area High School and is a graduate of Westminster College, where he majored in business administration. Nick worked as a RAS delivery service as an inventory manager before joining the city of Starkville. He enjoys fishing, working out, participating in intramural sports, as well as spending time with his girlfriend, Bethany. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to welcome Leanne McGarr, Accounts Payable, Finance and Administration. Leanne McGarr has lived in Uporta, Mississippi for 17 years. She's a cum laude graduate of Mississippi University for Women with a Bachelor of Science in Accounting. Leanne has previous experience working as a sales tax accountant for Logista in Columbus and the State Auditor's Office as an assistant field auditor. She's been married to her husband, Randy, for 17 years. Welcome. Next, I'd like to welcome Pavion Norwood, a maintenance worker for sanitation. Mr. Norwood is from Starkville and is a graduate of Starkville High School. He previously worked at Harvey's as a cook. Pavion is the proud parent of 3 children, Aiden Norwood, Devontae Bush, and Mason Norwood. During his spare time, Pavion enjoys playing basketball and PlayStation 4. He's a member of the Second Baptist Church. Welcome.
Thank you.
And a high five from Miss Dorothy. That's a good thing. Next, Jacqueline Posley, Community Development Department. Miss Jacqueline. Jacqueline is originally from Columbus, Mississippi, but grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. She attended the Tallulah Falls School, a small boarding school in North Georgia. Jacqueline returned to Mississippi to attend Mississippi State University, where she earned her Bachelor of Science degree in psychology. Prior to joining the city of Starkville, Jacqueline was a salesperson for New York Life Insurance. She enjoys knitting, reading, and spending time with her fiance, Jerome Monroe. Jacqueline is a member also of the Second Baptist Church. thank you all. Y'all all make us better. We appreciate you joining the city of Starkville. Okay, let's see. I don't think I have anything else. Or if I do, somebody needs to holler at me. Do I need to be talking about anything else? Okay. Do we have any Alderman comments? Board, Mr. Carver.
I can echo what the mayor said about Bulldog Bash. These are some comments that I've heard after a concert that I've never heard before. Comments I heard the last few days with the residents around Jackson and Green Street that the sound wasn't that loud. I don't know if it's channeling sound down Main Street, containing it within the buildings. Interesting comments. I also heard comments of the fact that it was a good venue for the local business owners. A lot of the local business owners spoke up, said they had a really good night from a retail sales side. And then the last comment that I thought was really positive on behalf of the students here tonight was the trash pickup. That's something we often talk about, but I saw one of the pictures that you shared with us of y'all going through, and maybe sometimes in the Cotton District, the lighting's not sufficient, and we've had incidents down there before. Maybe this time, it's kind of like when you go to Bill Street or something, there's ingress and egress. You've got to pass a police officer coming in and out, and I think that from a safety standpoint, that's a phenomenal place. That's the first, I think, of many functions we'll have down there. So again, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Anyone else?
Sure.
Alderman Walker?
Say again, thanks to everyone for helping pull off a big event. Thanks to the Starkville Police Department, thanks to the Starkville Fire Department, thanks to the SA, and really to the Sanitation Department. What a job that you are doing, making our city look better. Every weekend on the game days, the trash pickup, both in downtown and the district, people notice. People notice, and we see a difference. And so, thank you for a job well done, and we continue to look forward to keeping to make our city better. So, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, who on the board attended the Bulldog Bash? Come on, fess up. All right. It really was. It was excellent. Thank you. Police were wonderful. Fire was wonderful. Everybody, it was just great. I can't say enough about it, so I'll stop now. All right, that ends Board of Alderman comments. Nothing further from the board. We will now go into citizens' comments. Now, we have a whole lot of folks, so let me preface this. For Mr. Turner, you can start making your way up if you like, but I've got a couple things to say. Number one, we've got an opportunity for public comments on the alcohol ordinance and a couple of other ordinances that are up for the second and first public hearing. So please don't use citizen comments for that. And I know that we have some other comments that probably associate with the school board, so I don't want us to have a huge amount of redundancy, but I also don't want to stop anybody from talking. So if you just pay attention to the 3 minutes, and I'll try to keep the timer going. So, Mr. Turner.
All right. Good evening to the mayor and board. All right, to the mayor, to the vice mayor, to Alderman Vaughn. Thank you. To Chris Taylor. Want to thank you. And I want to thank you much for everything that you have done and you're doing. But in the days ahead, I would like to do this for my mother. She turned 88 years old yesterday. She worried about me, so if I could get the mayor and the vice mayor and my alderman and the chief police and the NACP president, we take a picture and put it in the paper, that would probably ease her worrying about her son until we find out what happened to her baby son. She appreciated it, and I would appreciate it. Miss Minnie Rogers, that lives on 307 and a half West Main, it's a plot that have grown up, and she would they be cut. She seen a couple of snakes, and she just would like to, if we could, take care of it. And her number is 324-5169. Thank you.
Say your number again, Mr. Turner.
324-5169.
5169. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Turner. All right. Anyone else? And name, please, and where you live.
Okay, my name is Sabrina Campbell. I am a Starkville resident, have been the majority of my life. I'm an MSU graduate, PhD student, 2 classes left. My kids attend school here as well. We have 2 graduates from Starkville High School. I am a teacher, and I still have a daughter that's here and grandkids. Okay, I know I don't look old enough, but I do. I wanted to speak on behalf of Dr. Deborah Prince, and I would like to say hello and congratulations, Mayor Rule. It's good to see you. Welcome back, Sister Sistrunk. As far as Deborah Prince goes for this position of Board of Aldermen, basically what I want to say is that she's invested, she's intelligent, and she's inquisitive. Now, she's not personally profitable for the school board. That's not her agenda. Her agenda is to be prophetically profitable for every pupil in our district and community. She is invested, and we should be utilizing the best of the best in our community, who are knowledgeable of our community, its history, its present status, and overall dynamics as relates to education, economics, all realms of economics, and our evolutionary strive here. In other words, someone who's invested and knows the community and does not have to be acclimated to the inner workings of our community, regardless of their socioeconomic status. Dr. Prince's goal is to address and assist issues for education for all youth, not a select few, not based on who your parents are or their wealth, their last name, but for all students, for their educational success in order to boost the economic growth within their homes, which in turn boosts our economy. We are all affected by whatever goes on in our high schools, in our elementary schools. She's intelligent. Dr. Prince is highly intelligent. She is a doctor at Mississippi State University based in education, she's well acclimated in her area of study, so she knows exactly what it takes that the students will need in high school, in elementary school, and how to get there and what to do once they get there. We would like to say that she is a very, very, very hard-working and dedicated person. She's coming from one of the most prestigious universities in the world, MSU, Hell State, okay? We'll also like to point this out. Let's be crystal clear. The workforce in life in general is highly competitive. It's multicultural, but not to be minimized. It's biased, but can be balanced. It's wild, but it can be tamed if we have the right person in this position. To me, this person is Dr. Prince. She's committed to the students and the community. She's consistent, she's diligent in ensuring all students, regardless of their race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, gender, sexual preference, or religion, will be treated fair and all resources are equitable. None of these labels determine a person's intellectual capacity, but it can determine their integrity if they're taught adequately. She's inquisitive. Dr. Prince is not going to simply take that because I said so answer. You're going to have to give her more than that with proof in the pudding, if you will. But finally, what I would like to say about Dr. Prince in this particular situation is that until we stop going for the status quo and strengthen our backbone and stand up and shout and support our community leaders like her, like advocates, then nothing will change in our community.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Do I have a time limit?
You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'll speak as
See if you can do that in 3
quickly as
minutes,
I
Kay.
can. I want to talk a little bit about this community and how hard it is to be very highly successful in this community. And I'm standing in front of a group of highly successful people.
Say who you are, please.
My name is Kay Brocato, and I am an associate professor in the College of Education at Mississippi State University. I am a researcher, I am a teacher, and I provide an enormous amount of service for this community. But I'm here today to not speak about myself, but to speak about my colleague, Dr. Deborah Prince. I think this community is very lucky to have 3 excellent candidates. But we have a particular need on our school board for the coming era, and that is to find a highly critical research methodologist. In the next 5 years, we are going to see enormous school reform initiatives that privatize many parts of our school district. Those service providers and private contractors are going to be supported by PR campaigns and great messaging across social media, and probably not a lot of good research methodology that really helps children grow. So I want to tell you about Deborah Prince. You all may know her as a stoic, very serious, not terribly jovial person, But if you watch her go to the Mississippi Delta and work in the school districts that she works in and get down in a tiny little chair with those big tall legs of hers and watch children, you will see that she is very critical about best practice, and also when she reads a document that describes a program that will cost millions of dollars for our district, she will be able to say that these research processes are sound, ethical research processes. So that is why I think she is head and shoulders above the other candidates. I've worked with both the other candidates. I have no hard feelings for them. I think they could be fantastic. At this particular time, we need a critical eye on the research base of the kinds of vendors we bring into our district. So that is my
Thank
talk.
you. And you did well, under 3 minutes. Yes, sir.
Mayor Sproul, Board, Alderman, Alderwoman. My name is Chuck Ware. I was born here. I'm a retired Army colonel and a defense contractor. I've retired back home. Right now, I'm doing volunteer work. I'm the Vice President for Habitat for Humanity, and I'm also President of the Oktibbeha County Henderson High School Scholarship Fund, and we have provided over $33,000 to students in the Starkville High School in the last 3 years. And I'm here to speak on behalf of Dr. Prince regarding the School Board of Trustees. Bottom line up front, my recommendation is that the Board of Aldermen appoint Dr. Deborah Lindsay Prince to the Starkville Board of Trustees. Bottom line up front. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more, but I want to put that up front. I'll follow up and expand a little bit on the Starkville Daily News article that was in Monday's paper. Yeah, she's a Starkville native. You probably know her parents, James Geechee Lindsay and Jackie Lindsay. They were both longtime employees of Mississippi State. Yes, she's a graduate of Starkville High School, and she's a native. She's had 3 children, attend Starkville High School and graduate, and she currently has 1 child that's in the district now. Before I talk about what was in the paper, let me expand a little bit and tell you how I arrived at my recommendations that you appoint her to the Board of Trustees of the School Board of Trustees. I went to your I went to your website, not your website, but the school website, and I pulled down their strategic plan, and I pulled down the duties of the School Board of Trustees. The reason I did that and my purpose for that was to align Dr. Prince and her capabilities and qualifications and her work history and match what's required of a School Board of Trustee member. I did that also.
One minute.
I did that also to, as a hiring official, you want to minimize the learning curve. And I looked at your mission, your vision of the school district. I looked at the values, and I saw stuff like public education, best for all kids. Now, if you look at Dr. Prince's resume, you'll see that her resume lines up very well with what the requirements are. She has a doctoral degree in curriculum education. She has over 30 published articles where she authored or co-authored. She's an executive member of the Boys and Girls Club. She is also a vice president out on the campus. She's an executive board member. She acknowledges the successes of the district. She also recognizes that we've got some gaps to fill.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate
Bottom
it.
line is I recommend Dr. Prince.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Board Mayor. It's Lenora Hogan. I'm a native of Starkville. I thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of Dr. Deborah Prince. As a parent of a 6th grader here in Starkville and administrator in the district, and as a former doctoral student at Mississippi State. The role of a school board member, of course, as you know, is to look out for all students and to remember that the education is not a line item. It's the only item. We talked about budgets last time, but the main thing is the education. The position is not a resume booster, of course. So I challenge you to pick the person that is most accessible to the public and that will hold the schools accountable for the performances that students are putting out. Deborah Prince shared some alarming statistics about our district that I didn't know, and I've been in the district almost 20 years, and it was shocking. But of course, you know, when you're comfortable in your surroundings, we miss a lot of things that we could grow on. So to me, that showed that this was an area that we need improvement on. And with her trying for 3 different times, I think she's ready for the challenge. So I look at that as a means of fertilizing what we have. And to me, she's that piece that we need to pick up on those areas that we're lacking on. We have a great board right now, but I think that's the piece that we need to look at the discomfort in the areas that we need. Everyone gets comfortable with what we have. And, you know, again, as I said, we have a lot of things going on. We have AP courses that are being added. But what about the students who are lacking? To me, Dr. Prince will look out for those students and find ways to meet those statistics that she talked about last time. She said that she was the P and the T in PTA. Well, she's also the A in PTA because she's produced at least 4 district employees that I know of with PhDs in my age group, probably more, but in my age group, I know of 4 students who just finished their doctoral degrees in the last 5 years. So that's to be commendable because that in turn helps our students as well. So I challenge you as an educator, as a parent in the district, to select the best person for the job, and I feel like Dr. Prince is that person.
Okay, thank you. Let me do just a quick, how many we got here who are speaking on behalf of Dr. Prince? All right, guys, that's a whole lot of folks. Is there any way we can narrow that down a little bit and maybe
I'm gonna narrow mine down. I can narrow mine down by cutting out some of the points that I have that they've already gone over.
Yes, ma'am. All right, you go right ahead.
Good evening, Mayor Brewer and the Board of Aldermen. My name is Felisa Ashford. I'm a lifetime resident of Starkville. I attended Starkville High, Starkville School District. I'm a 1980 graduate of Starkville School District. I'm a mother of 2 with 2 graduates. I have also assisted in rearing several children in the community, as far as the neighbors, the relatives, the friends, and friends of a friend. I'm a grandmother of 9. And out of those 9 that I have, 6 are in the school district. And out of those 6 attended, at least 3 of those kids are going to possibly need the extra, someone to go that extra mile for them. So, enough about myself. I'm here on behalf of Dr. Deborah Lindsay Prince as far as being elected for the school board. She have in mind she's have an idea of where she wants to assist the board with preparing children to help reduce crime rate, teen pregnancies, high employment rate, drug addiction, and etc. I know that each of one of you already know her qualifications, so I don't have to go over that again. I do want to stress out that she is a teacher from here. You do have kids, and she was born. She wasn't born here, but she's been a resident since 1973. We also do know that she's also is determined to bring in her ideas to the Starkville School Board and helping with the educational program for our kids. She knows that the number one thing to do for economic development is assuring all children a better education and preparing for graduation, college, employment, or a career. Now, this is what I want you all to think about. Out of every household, at least 4 kids are going to need that extra help. And if this was one of your children, you would want someone to go that extra mile for you also. Lastly, Dr. Deborah Prince was not one of those that was from the poverty, but she has been a part of all, so she knows firsthand of what needs to be done from all angles. So I ask you to carefully select the most qualified person for this position today, and let that be Dr. Deborah Prince. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ashford.
Linda Coase, I'm a citizen of Starkville. The lens through which we view the world is tinted by our experiences and the experiences of those close to us. It's through a diversity of these lenses that we build strong communities. Researchers about effective schools tells us that schools are reflective of their community. Where there is a cohesive, unified, progressive, and strong community, there is an effective public school system. An effective public school system is one that provides learning experiences needed for all students to be contributors to a global society. Honorable Mayor, members of the Board of Aldermen, I am here this evening to ask that you select Dr. Deborah Prince to the vacant seat on the Starkville Oktibbeha Consolidated School District Board of Trustees. I believe that Dr. Prince has a unique set of experiences, skills, and characteristics that will serve as an asset to the school board and assist in the advancement of our school district as it seeks to embrace educational excellence at the magnitude demanded for our children to become strong competitors in a global marketplace. Dr. Prince brings to the table a notable career as a public school teacher, a career that includes working in the trenches with children, our children, teaching them the basic skills needed to function in our community, needed for them to function in society. Her work as a school teacher served as the foundation for her work at the university level, preparing classroom teachers, school leaders, and educational researchers. She guides students, teachers, and principals through the process of conducting empirically based research, the type of research needed to advance curriculum and to advance teaching and learning in classrooms. She has strong analytical skills, knowledge of statistical measures. She can conduct, implement, and interpret educational research. Over the years, I've had the opportunity professionally and socially to interact and observe Dr. Prince. What I admire most about her and what I think is her strongest asset is her passion. This passion has been visible for me from watching her work entirely with her students at MSU. Most of these students, they are school teachers, and many of whom work in the Starkville school system. Her passion for working with children inside and outside the classroom, her passion for caring about her community, wanted to help her community, this community, our community, to be one where everyone is valued. Having her on the school board will allow the voices of children, the voices of parents.
That's all.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's the 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Sorry, we're having a malfunction over here. I'm sorry. And your name?
I'm Dr. Nancy Verhoek Miller, and I was born in New Jersey, but I wish I'd been born in Starkville because I love it. I love being here. I hope I can stay here forever and ever and ever. I taught at Mississippi State University for many years, and I'm retired. And I have to tell you that Dr. Prince, again, she was in my graduate children's literature class. And then I was on her doctoral committee, and she is the most wonderful student, teacher, colleague, absolutely, and just you could ever imagine. She's all about children of all ages. You know, my mom, and I'd love to hear the gentleman talk about his mom, because my mom came a number of years ago, and I'm going to start crying, but she's passed away, but Dr. Prince got to meet her and talk about children, and just so for all ages, Dr. Prince is just an angel. She will help prepare the community for the future, and that's everyone. No matter any of our ages, she will help prepare the community for the future. Everyone will benefit. She puts everybody ahead of herself. It's not about her, it's about everyone else. Please do consider appointing Dr. Prince to the Board of Trustees. And thank you so much for letting me share. Good. And have a happy rest of the day.
Thank you.
It's hard to follow that. Good evening. To the Honorable Mayor, distinguished Board of Aldermen. My name is Linda Cornelius, and I'm a professor in the College of Education at Mississippi State University. It gives me great pleasure to speak on behalf of Dr. Deborah Prince, a person I have known for over 27 years. A review of her curriculum vitae reflects a very diverse and varied array of professional experiences that show her as an enthusiastic academic leader, educational consultant, evaluator, teacher, and a person who is an advocate for all students. She is also a parent and grandparent, and just an ideal, extraordinary, productive citizen who wants the best for all children. Dr. Prince is not new to the school district. She has been involved for over 40 years. She was a teacher in the district at Somerset for over 11 years. Over the 40 years of Dr. Prince's involvement in the district, she has evolved from being a homeroom mother, working at special functions and tutoring. Taken together, Dr. Prince's work has provided her with opportunities for hands-on engagement for planning, project management, and collaborative endeavors with faculty and individuals from all walks of life in the community. We all know that the successful candidate for this position must have the ability to communicate, collaborate, assimilate knowledge, and provide leadership that is needed, that is based on the core values of respect, compassion, inclusiveness, social responsibility, excellence in all that he or she does, moral values, and above all, integrity. Throughout her career, Dr. Prince has exhibited all of these characteristics and more. She is the kind of person who will work tirelessly as a member of a team, understanding that no one does work alone, communicating and planning together as a member of a team. The goals of the school board will be achieved and with great success. With effective planning and collaboration, Dr. Prince knows that she will face challenges, but she can do it with a can-do attitude. I have seen this firsthand in her work with our students. She is the go-to professor that all of our graduate students, or many of them with whom I work, appreciate the long hours and times that she spends with them. She has the ability to give students confidence and to give them courage.
Thank you.
In order for them to be successful.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Hannah Owens, and I am a Starkville resident. I've had the privilege of knowing Dr. Deborah Prince as a former student, as a colleague, and also as a friend. I met Dr. Prince as a graduate student, having taken her as the instructor for my very first research course. Now, if you're not familiar with how university research courses are typically perceived by students, it's usually met with about the same level of enthusiasm as going to get a cavity filled. However, Dr. Prince, a master educator, relayed the course content in a manner that was relevant to my learning style, and the course became not only an enjoyable experience for myself, but also led to my passion for my current career as a researcher. Naturally, when it became time to select committee members for my dissertation, Dr. Prince, who I affectionately dubbed my research mama, was my first choice. During the entire process, Dr. Prince was able to patiently collaborate and communicate with other members of my dissertation committee to make sure that all processes were both sound and beneficial beyond my own selfish desire to study a particular situation and could produce value to society. And last, but certainly not least, that all members were on the same page. Now, if you've ever had the pleasure of serving on a dissertation committee or sitting in the defense seat, you know this is no easy task. The fact that Dr. Prince has served on hundreds of these types of committees as a chair and member and has survived with grace and sanity still intact is a testament to her commitment, her passion for serving others, and her ability to work as a team for the greater good of others. In addition to these great qualities that are essential to function as an effective board member, Dr. Prince has a desire to see all students succeed. Dr. Prince has helped first-generation students who may need additional help navigating collegiate processes, and has also served as the catalyst to challenge students who are more academically prepared to push beyond their comfort zones to achieve excellence. Regardless of one's background or experiences, Dr. Prince has held high expectations and has provided each student with resources needed to succeed. As a board member, Dr. Prince will set the same level of high expectations for all members of the Starkville-Oktibbeha Consolidated School District and will work to make sure that all have the resources needed to succeed. Tonight, I kindly ask you to appoint the highly motivated and the highly qualified Dr. Prince as a board member and to help the Starkville-Oktibbeha County Consolidated School District to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Owen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor Perkins, and to the board. I am Eva Maria White. I am a resident of Bell Schoolhouse in Oktibbeha County. And I rose really just so that you could put a face with the email that I've already sent. I wanted you to know who I am, and I wanted to come before you to let you know that what I've already written to you, I stand strongly behind it. And if you have not had the opportunity to read the email that I have sent, please read it and take it into strong consideration for Dr. Deborah Prince. Thank you.
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, and woman. My name is Eddie Miles, and I'm a resident of Ward 6. I've also served on the school board for over 10 years, in which there's been some good and some bad times. Nevertheless, I come before you to speak on behalf of Dr. Deborah Prince and hope for her to be appointed as the Starkville-Oktibbeha Consolidated School District next board member. I've known Dr. Prince and her family for over 20 years. I've had the pleasure of speaking with her on numerous issues concerning our community and even personal training her son. She has over 40 years of involvement with the district as a former graduate, a parent, a teacher, and now a grandmother. She currently serves as an educational researcher for over 30 years of teaching experience. As a former board member in the district, I've come to believe that there's a few characteristics that a board member should have. One, accountability driven, not just focused on policies, but policies that will improve student achievement. Dr. Prince's occupation indicates to me that she would be driven to help make the right decision for students in the district. Secondly, a visionary, not seeing the district as it is, but seeing the district as it will be. Collaborative relationship with not only just our current board members, but the staff and community, and establish a strong communication structure and to inform and engage both internally and externally stakeholders in setting and achieving the district goals. Deborah Prince is open, honest, transparent, dependable, trustworthy, and most important, she is passionate. And I don't use passion lightly. Passionate about making a meaningful difference in the lives of all students. I ask that you will highly consider Dr. Prince, Dr. Deborah Prince, as your next appointed board member. Thank you all.
Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? Oh.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you all for allowing me this opportunity. I honor you, Mayor and Vice Mayor, to my alderman, Mr. Carver, and to the alderman where my church is, Mr. Walker. I come to speak on behalf of Dr. Prince. Before I, I'm sorry. My name is Angela Walton. I'm a doctoral student at Mississippi State in the Instructional Systems Workforce Development Department. I have seen Dr. Prince around campus a long time. Even before I knew who she was, I saw her around the halls of our building. And one thing I can say about her, she loves her job and she loves children. And any student that she can help, she does it. I needed one more person on my committee, and I went to class one night, and as soon as she put her briefcase down, I was at the podium saying, Dr. Prince, would you be on my committee? She said, let me get myself together first. I had the papers in my hand. So I say to you, I would like for you all to appoint Dr. Prince to this position because she loves children. And we want people in positions that love children so that our kids can get the best services that they need. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, any further citizens' comments? All right, we'll.
Good evening.
Yes,
my
ma'am.
name is Kasia Gallo. I am an instructor in counseling, educational psychology, and foundations, also a PhD student there. I will not repeat everything that was already said about Dr. Prince, but I want to reiterate one point, and that is it is very easy to read a scientific paper. It's very easy to make decisions based on scientific papers. It's very hard to read them and see truly whether they are solid and sound. It's sort of like a design drawing. You can have a beautiful drawing for a really bad project, okay? Dr. Prince has the experience to understand the difference between a well-written scientific paper that sells something that will cost millions of dollars to implement in a district that's based on faulty science versus take a paper that truly carries meaning and good stuff with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to respect your trying to condense this. So this is a class of 1985. So the
Okay,
three
that's
of
great.
us. 81. I'm thinking 85 from Mississippi State undergraduate school. Yeah, I thought you. Well,
would you introduce everyone for us?
I'm Eileen Cartab. This is Evelyn Hill and Daryl Bishop.
Thank you.
You all heard about Deborah's research and professionalism and all of that. We know that Deborah that knows how to do the electric slide, that knows how to smile and knows how to be that person that you all don't see every day. Deborah is fun-loving, she's caring, and we can definitely go on and on about, her research and what have you and about all of that. But we want you to know that Deborah is a fun-loving, caring person. A lot of you all don't know that when we were doing our class reunion, Deborah was the one that said, hey, let's balance this budget. So she does know how to balance not only the budget for the class reunion, she knows how to budget for the nonprofits that she serves on, which is the Oktibbeha County Boys and Girls Club. We've seen her make $1 turn into $100. She can actually do that. So we want you all to know that Deborah is very fun-loving, she is kind, and she is a very, very giving person. See,
right.
that's it.
Thank you very much. Okay, anyone else?
Good evening, Board. Mayor, Honorable Vice Mayor.
Yes, sir.
My name is Chris Taylor. You got 3 great candidates for this position, but you can only select one. And you have heard, the community has spoken. We really want Dr. Deborah Prince on the board. 3 times is a charm. Let's make it. Thank you.
All right, seeing no one else, I'm going to close it to citizens' comments, and thank you. Thank you. I have a list, I have a long list. Okay. All right. After citizens' comments, we have chosen to move ahead with 2 items that were under board business, which are item A was resolution acknowledging and approving the sale and award of the general obligation development bonds series 2017 of the city of Starkville in the maximum principal amount of $7 million. And we have a resolution that we got the interest rate in today. Okay, I'm sorry, thank you. The interest rate came in at 3.24, where did it go? Help me. Hang on. I got the 3.24 part. Oh, there we go. 3.249405, so we wanted to get those last digits in there. And we need to get approval of that by this board in order for us to proceed with the industrial park. And I have a motion from Alderman Little. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Walker. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, one nay? Okay, thank you. That's by a vote of 6-1, motion carries. And the second item under board business will be resolution of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Starkville approving and authorizing the execution of the following agreements in connection with the development of a new industrial park project. 1, the amended and restated Regional Economic Development Act Alliance Agreement. 2, the Natural Gas Pipeline Project Memorandum of Understanding. 3, the Electrical Power Substation Project Memorandum of Understanding. 4, the Memorandum of Understanding with the Mississippi Transportation Commission. 5, Professional Services Agreement with Headwaters, Inc., and 6, the Letter of Agreement for Engineering Services with Neil Shaver. This too goes toward the industrial park. And I don't know that we have any reason, does anyone have any reason to want to seek any information from the link? I think they're in the audience, so. If not, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Alderman Little. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, that's Alderman Carver. Second from Alderman Carver. Any further discussion? Sorry?
Leaving our work session, City Attorney, does everything look good to you?
It does.
Sufficient? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Vice Mayor Perkins is nay. We have a 6-1. Motion carries. Thank you very much, and thank you all. I think the bond folks have moved out, and we can open a few chairs, I think, maybe if Joe Max and his guys decide to go home. Maybe they already have. All right, we next have a public appearance. Miss Dorothy. Miss Isaacs, you have 10 minutes for what has been... Ma'am? You have 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to
For, yes, ma'am. Be clear about that. We have 10 minutes for an education and community involvement.
That's right. Good
talk.
evening to everybody. This thing too high, y'all had to let this thing down when I come up here now. But that's 1 minute, that's all.
We can hear you.
Okay. I would just like to say good evening to everybody, and especially to the mayor, vice mayor. You know, I don't do that. I just say all my aldermen. You know, everybody who here know that's what I say. But today I come before you with some very pressing issues that's on my mind. We talked about Deborah Prince. We heard some good things about Deborah Prince. But the most important thing that you haven't heard yet, and I think I'm the bravest one in the room to see it, we need it because we need diversity. And that's what we talk about, diversity here in our city. And we need diversity. We need to divide up because we have a mostly black district. We have a most black, we can't help that, but we do have most black district. And Deborah, she's one who will stand up for each and every one of our children. And I know that for a fact because I know one time I was writing a paper and Deborah looked at the paper and she said, "You surely gonna fail." And that's what I'm telling you. She said, "You're surely gonna fail." So, you know, she stood up to me and told me that, you know, she'll tell y'all anything, you know. And I know she will be for our children, very presentable, and she's always been a sweet person. Nothing has ever, I don't think Frank had to take her to jail before he had to take me to jail, but I don't think she's been in jail. And I would just like to say, because, that's all I'm gonna leave it like that, because we have a common denominator. The next thing is, you know, when we started out, we were electing everybody. The first thing we talked about was community involvement and doing things for the community. You know, and we also talked about, we didn't talk about liquor. I don't know how it come up, but like I said, I have been quoted as saying, I am not for moving anything that's not broken. It's not broken. You made the Bulldog Bash, you made it good. We didn't have to have the beer that night. They can have the beer, go home. You know, go home and drink your beer. Me, as a personal citizen, I just want to say it. And I want to say it calmly to each and every one of you. And I know you're going to vote for it tonight. I know you're going to vote for it. But make it behalf of the citizens. Make it behalf of them. Don't make it on the behalf of the student. I pay taxes here. Students come and go. We love them. Yes, they pay taxes too. Mom and dad do too, and I know y'all know some of the mom and dads that come into the town. But I would just like to say, make it a safe haven. Don't make it bad. Please don't make it bad. That's all I wanted to say about that. And also about the community relations. Come over to the other side of town. Don't only make this town right here, right down this road. We need something over on the other side where I live here. And y'all know I live in Rolling Hill. Anything happen to me, Chief gonna protect me. And that's why I live at Rolling Hill. And that's what I'm for. Come over that side and do some stuff. We got trash need picking up too. We got trash need picking up, we got everything else. And right now that's what I'm here for, because it says I need community involvement over there on my side of the town. Next thing I wanna say, if this gonna make y'all happy, I brought y'all one tonight to have one me. I did. I brought one because if it's gonna make you happy, I don't drink. But I brought one to make everybody happy. Just think about what you're doing. You're not doing it only to me, but you're doing it to our children that's coming up in the community. The only thing they know about us is, oh, they got liquor. They got liquor, so that's all we want. We need education. We need some apartments, houses. We need everything, and most of all, we need education for our children. That's why we're supporting Deborah tonight. Our children need to be represented. We need to be represented. And I know she lives in Rock Hill, lived all her life in Rock Hill. But I tell you, she knows about do's and don'ts, or what to go on. And I know what the do's and don'ts go on. I don't know how it might have got out, but I want each one of y'all to take a sip out of it tonight. Take a sip. Take a sip, if this is what we want. Look in our city. Take a sip. Help yourself. I just want you to know. And when you vote, I'm gonna still say it's wrong. I can't get uptown. No bus ran through my neighborhood to come pick me up and bring me up here. No bus ran, and I couldn't go in my wheelchair. I started to come on up the road in my wheelchair and see if anybody picked me up. But I'm trying to make some vital points. I'm making vital points. What you do it for the least, and you do it for the ones who got sense. And I want you to know that. I don't have a prepared statement. That's my prepared statement. I could have talked better and talked about, all this, the big stuff, but I just want you to know. If you want it, there it is. I went out today and brought it. I don't know, I know it's what? This is 12 flow ounce right here. And when we go on to get the rest of the beer, just think about it. We're going to open it up. Get drunk. You can get drunk at home. Get drunk at home. Go home. At 1 o'clock, everybody, I can't make them go, but at 1 o'clock, everybody ought to be going, not getting a DUI and can't go to work next week. They need to be doing that. Now, and I know, I wasn't here last week, because I couldn't get up and down the steps right here. It was raining so bad. Work on something like that. Work on something like that and appreciate me for coming up here. Because, I come to the board meeting every time it's a board meeting. I come. So respect me enough to know that. And if you vote tonight, don't worry, I'll be back again in the next 2 weeks. That's all I got to say. I'm leaving that for y'all to get a sip out of it.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. All right, thank you, Ms. Isaacs. All right, we have now the opportunity to go into the public hearing, and this will be the second public hearing on the ordinance that Ms. Isaac was referring to, which is the change to the alcohol ordinance for the city of Starkville. And I'm going to do what I did last time, which is I'm going to ask for a show of hands here in a second for pros and cons. I'm going to give the pro side 15 minutes. I'm going to give the con side 15 minutes. So let's start here. Who is here to be supportive of the alcohol ordinance? Okay, everybody lining the back wall there. Okay. And who is here to be against the alcohol ordinance? Okay. All right. So if we would, if y'all can gather together, I'm gonna give you 15 minutes, but if we can get just a few spokespeople for that, that would be great. So if y'all want to take a moment and gather some folks to be spokespeople, that'll be fine. If somebody wants to just come on up, we'll get started and see, we'll fight it out later on. And this is to be in favor of. Okay. All right, if we could be quiet. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's see. I'll get a little closer to the mic here and see. We're gonna do, this is in support of, okay? I'm sorry. All right. Well, I should have gotten closer to the mic. I apologize. This is 15 minutes in support of, 15 minutes against. This is the folks who are in support of. So if you'd introduce yourself, I'm going to start the clock.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board, I'm Jennifer Prather, Director of Tourism. This is Hunter Harrington. She's our Membership Director. We represent the Greater Starkville Development Partnership, the Starkville Main Street Association, and the Convention Visitors Bureau. In that capacity, we represent many community members and local businesses that represent Starkville as a whole. We hope that you will consider bringing our ordinances locally up into line with our conservative state statute. We feel like that is a move that will not only contribute to the growth and vitality of Starkville, but additionally, we spend our day every day promoting Starkville as a restaurant destination. And we have received recognition for that, not only statewide, but also regionally. That will further contribute to our community flourishing as a result of this change, creating an economic impact that will allow us to further contribute to the resources and the needs that this community has that contributes to our quality of life. So I thank you for your consideration. I thank you for the work that you do every day to make our community better.
Thank
you. Mayor and Board, my name is Jeremy Murdoch. I'm the current chair of the Convention and Visitors Bureau with the partnership. As you know, tourism's our world. We put on a lot of the events here, like Winkapalooza and a lot of quality of life events throughout the year. Over the past 3 or 4 years, we've really put an emphasis on creating Starkville or marketing Starkville as a culinary destination. And when I started this work, volunteering my time about 7, 8 years ago, we had about a fledgling farmers market, and fast forward to today, we've been featured at the Atlanta Food and Wine Festival. Our chefs and restaurants have been featured in international and national publications, so we've come a long way. And with that increased reputation, we've had a lot of interest in downtown to locate restaurants and further revitalize our downtown. But there's very few properties that lie outside the existing boundary. So I feel like if we could come down to the state statute, that would open up more property to add restaurants and local food to downtown. And as you know, that we submitted a letter to you a few weeks ago unanimously supporting this ordinance, and we ask you to do the same. Thank you for everything you do for our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Evening, I'm Julie Brown, downtown Julie Brown, I guess, but I've got my office has been on Main Street on the corner of Main and Lafayette for 21 years now. When I first got here, downtown was empty. There were a lot of empty spaces. Retail was dying. The Carousel Children's Store closed up, and that's what changed, is Old Venice went into that spot. And Old Venice did serve wine and beer, and all of a sudden, the community theater got better. People could go out to dinner and have a drink, and with all due respect to Ms. Isaacs, not everybody goes out to get drunk. Also, not all students get drunk. So I hate the word drinking, being drunk, but there's a lot of responsible people that like to have a choice. And just as if anybody goes to Applebee's after church, or to Ruby Tuesdays, or to Little Dewey's, or any number of places, you do not have to drink alcohol, although they do serve it. One nice thing about this ordinance is we are still protecting the churches. We're just limiting the space. It's 2.5 times or 2 times the distance that is required by state law, which has really caused some problems. And it's not anti-church at all, and it's not a vote for pro-alcohol or pro-drinking. It's a choice for businesses, just as the businesses chose not to allow smoking. Everybody thought that was really going to kill our businesses. It helped. Starkville's growing. We are not just a student association, although they're going to speak in a minute, but there's retirees that come here and people like myself. So I would like to have a choice.
And this will still protect the churches. We still have the police downtown with a lot of presence. We have a lot of laws that have been passed since these blue laws were passed. Dram Shop Act, the blood alcohol content level's been lowered. There's all kinds of other new laws that have come in that protect the churches and people as well. The last thing I'd like to say is the churches are wonderful in our community. We have a lot of churches, and a lot of churches downtown and in the Russell Street corridor. But a lot of them are in retail spots and in almost residences. And they are used sometimes once on Wednesday and a little bit on Saturday, or Sunday rather. And the rest of the time, there's just clerical people there. And to prohibit this giant distance around such establishments for the entire week, and 365 days of the year seems to be very unfair and the tail wagging the dog a little bit. So again, I don't want anybody to feel that they're voting for alcohol or against churches. Please vote for the ordinance to limit it. All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Elena Prentice. I am a business owner here in town. I'm a lifelong resident of Starkville. I own a retail shop, and I'm the third owner. It's been in Starkville for over 76 years. So I'm here to speak on behalf of how my business has grown being relocated next to a restaurant. And I was over on Washington Street for forever, and my business was very slow. And then a few years ago, I moved over on Russell Street by McAllister's, closer to campus. And the walk-by traffic that I have is tremendous just because there's a restaurant next to me. In January, Mugshots is moving over by me, and I am so excited because that means even more traffic's coming through, even more people will be coming into my business, and that means that I can make more money and I can pay more taxes. So this is not only going to help the restaurants, this will also help us small business owners as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Prentice.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Lexi Landry, and I'm a Student Association campus-wide senator. I wrote the resolution in support of changing the alcohol ordinances that you all received. I wrote it, but it was unanimously passed by a Senate of nearly 60 students elected to represent the over 22,000 students at Mississippi State, and we brought copies for you.
Do we have permission to approach?
Yes, you do, and would you state your name as well?
Yes. My name is Leighton Little, and I serve as the Vice President of the student body at Mississippi State.
And actually, wait, no, okay. While he's passing those out, if we've got time, I'll read the resolution.
Yes, you do.
A resolution to express student support for the proposed changes to Starkville's alcohol ordinances. Whereas the current ordinances ban the sale of alcohol past 12 a.m. on weeknights or within 250 feet of a church's sanctuary, and permit the sale of beer with only a 5% or lower alcohol content. Whereas the proposed changes would extend the time alcohol may be sold to 1 a.m. Monday through 1 a.m., reduce the restriction on alcohol sale to within 100 feet of a church's sanctuary, and permit the sale of beer with an 8% alcohol content. Whereas Starkville businesses have been serving beer with an alcohol content over 5% since 2012 when the state law was changed, indicating that the current ordinance is long outdated. Whereas changing the ordinances to be in compliance with the state of Mississippi statutes would generate more business for the existing restaurants, bars, and venues in Starkville, as well as make Starkville a more attractive place to open a new business. Whereas encouraging economic development in the Cotton District, Main Street, Russell Street, and the 182 corridor will not only benefit the city of Starkville, Starkville business owners, and residents of Starkville, it will also have a great beneficial impact on the alumni, students, and future students of Mississippi State University. Whereas Starkville restaurants and bars generating more profits directly impact the students of MSU by increasing the revenue the Student Association receives from the 2% food and beverage tax. Whereas the student body of MSU stands in agreement with the Greater Starkville Development Partnership, the Starkville Visitors and Convention Council, the Starkville Main Street Association, the Golden Triangle Restaurant Association, a great number of Starkville business owners, many alumni who frequent Starkville, and a majority of those who call Starkville home, that seeing our beloved downtown alive after 5 p.m. would be a positive change. And also just wanted to briefly explain why the Student Association thinks that changing the ordinance would benefit the entire student body. There's obviously a lot of students who will be excited about the extended weeknight alcohol sale hours, but beyond that, all of the students at Mississippi State, even those who are not 21 years old, even those who don't even drink, will be excited when new restaurants and venues and businesses come to Starkville and thrive. So for that reason, we believe that changing the ordinance is a necessary step in Starkville's economic development.
So I am an accounting and finance major, so we talk a lot about opportunity cost. And for those of you that don't know what opportunity cost is, it refers to a benefit that a person could have received, but they gave it up in order to receive another benefit and to take a different course of action. So while we might be giving up 150 feet of space from a church, we will be having another course of action, another benefit of having those businesses downtown that could come into town, could liven up the downtown area that Lexi mentioned earlier, that the students could benefit for years to come. And we think it's an incredible opportunity that Starkville has presented itself, and just for the Mississippi State student body as a whole. And so we just thank y'all for taking your time to allow us to come and speak. I know I'm proud of all the 60 senators in this room, as they've all worked 3 weeks on this legislation, coming to Board of Aldermen meetings, sitting down and just listening to the students at Mississippi State. So we are highly supportive of this resolution and the proposed changes to the alcohol ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, Board, my name is David Sides. I am a junior at Mississippi State. I am not affiliated with the Student Association, but I am the lead community organizer for Oktibbeha County, working for a nonprofit called Mississippi Votes. And the reason I'm coming to speak tonight in relation to the alcohol laws is in reference to how we view students and how we view the student population in Starkville. I don't think it's fair to classify the student population as transient or non-permanent, especially considering our current permanent population of Starkville is around 25,000, correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, and the student population is nearing 21,000. So you're looking at about 9 months out of the year where your population is doubled, and all of these people are of voting age. One of our big things at Mississippi Vote is advocating for students to register to vote in their college town. This is especially critical in Mississippi because Mississippi is one of 3 states where there is an election every single year. So that's 4 opportunities for students to vote and have an impact and have their voice heard in a place where they live for 4 years. And I would implore each and every alderman here, I personally live in Ward 4, to remember the students and that many students are getting registered to vote, and to listen to their voices and the way that they would like to see Starkville moving in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sides. Okay, anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Okay, that was 11 minutes and 53 seconds. And I do want to say something about the students being involved. I'm delighted that you have taken it upon yourself to become involved and engaged in the local government. We, at one point in time, had 2 aldermen who were students out here. We don't have that now, but I would welcome you anytime you want to come get engaged in what we're doing and pay attention to what this board is doing, because it does impact you. So thank you all for your attendance. Okay, we will now reset the clock and give those who are against the proposed ordinance changes to come have an opportunity to come forward.
Well, I'm sorry I had to be put on the against side, but you didn't say who's neutral about it but has something to say.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I could have opened that as a different aspect, but please.
So give the against 15 minutes and give me 15 minutes and we'll be perfect.
I tell you what, we'll see how much time is left over. You go right ahead.
My name's David Mullendor and I'm a business owner downtown. I've been here 18 years and know the late night life like the back of my hand. I'm sure better than all the rest of you put together. I spend my Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, almost without exception, managing my business downtown till 1:30, 2, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So all that you hear, it may be snapshots. Mine is a lot of weekends and busy nights learning and knowing what's going on downtown. At present, I personally am for it if certain things are done to make sure that the downtown is managed correctly throughout the night. At present, downtown is a 3-night market, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and that's when students are in town. When they're not, it's a 2-night market, Friday and Saturday. I'm talking about the late night market. The business is great from 5 till 8 or 9, and then it dies. And the business owners are starved for more business. There's no question about that. The restaurants and bars. It's a matter of downtown developing and growing into more. But I can tell you that I think extending the alcohol serving times will do little or nothing to help improve bringing more business, restaurants and bars to downtown. It will certainly benefit downtown to have more, especially if we can develop businesses on the side streets, Lafayette and Lambkin, Jackson, and further south on Main Street past Jackson towards campus. Don't know how much of that is possible, but in my view, the city has to help the building owners that have vacant space get a clientele or get candidates that would fill those spots with restaurants. It may help, in my opinion, to get the support of the churches if you maybe classify what can be within 100 feet of a church. There's a big difference between a restaurant that serves alcohol as part of its dining experience and a bar that serves food to satisfy the sales food mix that's required by the liquor license. There's a big difference in the way they're set up, there's a big difference in the way they work, and there's a big difference in the activity level and responsibility that people show when they're in those places. The successful downtowns that I have seen over the course of my career have always managed the activity level. And I think that's where we fall short. And I'm not indicting or condemning anybody. It's just a fact of the way we've thought about downtown, and I believe we need to have a different line of thinking towards it. Current problems that, in my opinion, first of all, a successful downtown like ours has presence that controls what goes on. It's not that they control it directly, but you can't have activity levels that dissuade the ability of people to have a pedestrian-friendly environment. Our streets real wide, most downtowns like ours have narrow streets, the traffic speed is controlled, there's police presence at the beginning and the end. The noise levels, people are not allowed to get out of control and ruin really the mojo that can happen with a street that's full of activity and people going back and forth to different places.
Mr. Mullendore, you've had 5 minutes, and I've got 5 people lined up behind you. So
Okay, well, I've only got 10 left.
No, you don't. No,
Well,
sir.
let me say this. Currently, what I see as a problem, and it's developed over about the last 4 or 5 years, the speed limit is rarely observed and almost rarely, and certainly rarely enforced. That's a danger that I think needs to be addressed. The volume levels of cars and the horsepower of cars and the exhaust emissions and the radios all add to dissuading people from having an active pedestrian Main Street.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm gonna shut you down now, because I'm gonna let these other folks behind you talk. If there's any time left over, I'll let you come back, okay?
Okay, I want to say one more thing.
That was a minute
Sorry.
ago. You were saying one more thing a minute ago. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Good evening to the mayor.
Okay,
To
hang on just a second. Okay, folks, so let's be quiet so we can hear these people. Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Roy Ann Bell. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Starkville. To the mayor, to the vice mayor, to my aldermen. I thank you for allowing me this time to voice my concerns on your upcoming vote, the proposed changes to the city ordinance as it relates to extending the drinking hours and also locating liquor selling establishments within 100 feet of churches and schools. I passionately would like to ask you as a board member to vote no to the proposed changes to the city ordinance. Much has been said about this measure and progress, but I believe that we as a community can progress, have progressed, and will continue to progress without this being approved. I ask you to vote no for the following reasons. I had 3, but I'll just do 2. I do believe, number one, that this board's greatest and utmost responsibility is to the protection and the safety and the well-being of the citizens of this community. And our first concern should be that of Starkvillians. Again, the safety should far outweigh any other things. I'm sure you already know statistics, so I won't go into those, but I will quote one statistic, and I'm sure you already know this in your research. And the statistic is that researchers have found that 1,825 college students die from alcohol-related unintentional injuries, including motor vehicle crashes, and I'm sure that other lives were impacted because of that. So are we saying that the only way we can progress through it is through endangering our citizens, our children, our grandparents, grandchildren? Are we prepared to do that, put our community in jeopardy? Last point, this country is blessed and has always been blessed by God. We say all the time, God bless America. And in that, what we're saying is we're saying God bless Starkville. We want our community to be blessed and to prosper, but here we sit considering dishonoring God by allowing drinking establishments to be established within 100 feet of those same places that we worship in. We're better than that. I'm a proud Starkvillian, and I know that we are better than that. And so we've been blessed, we've progressed because we've trusted God, and I venture to say we are a great city because of it. And I ask you as the board tonight to please vote no for extending the hours and the content of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bell.
Sabrina Campbell, again, I address all of you on the board and the mayor. I am against the ordinance for a student. I've been a Mississippi State University student, grad student at this point. I have family here. And the bottom line is this: we have to get away from the love of money, because the love of money is the root of all evil. We have to get back to teaching our students morals, values, and ethics. Whether they're getting it at home when they get away and they feel like they can do whatever they want to do. I was a student. So therefore, we have to really let them know that we're not a college party town. We're a town about economic growth, but it can be done without having the alcohol ordinance to where alcohol is extended. Unfortunately, on the Bulldog Bash night, student completely intoxicated, about 4 of them total, just ran in front of my car, boom. And if I had not seen them at that point, I would have hit at least 2 of them. The other one came just drunk, barely could stand. See, that frightens me, because them jumping out behind cars because they're intoxicated, I've seen them all on the side of the road. That doesn't speak for all students, but 1 life lost due to alcohol usage is 1 life too many. So I do say this: let's make sure that Starkville is known for morals, ethics, and values, and not an alcoholic party town. These businesses can have growth, but go back within the community and see what the community needs from you as a business to have that growth. Respect the residents that are here, lifelong residents. We love the students. I hope you love me. I'm still a student. But we have to think about the long term and not the short term. Because if they're going to be responsible, they're responsible enough to buy what you need or what you want before 1 o'clock. Because as my mama said, anything after 12 that's open and good for you. Okay, thank you.
I'm Marnita Henderson, and I'm in Ward 1. Thank y'all for letting me come, Mayor, Board of Aldermen. Just make it very brief. Please reject this ordinance. Please respect churches, schools, daycares, and funeral homes. And these are the things that are involved. We talk about going from 250 feet to 100 feet. We all talk about football. That is from the goalpost to the 30-yard line. That's not very far, unless you're trying to make a first down. And you often, when you start to change ordinances, you talk about the health, safety, and welfare. There's nothing in this that helps anybody's health. There's nothing in this that helps anybody's safety, and there's nothing that helps anybody's welfare. You talk about economic growth and all that's going to come in here, all these restaurants, all these businesses. We already can stay open till 1 o'clock, 3 mornings. That's only adding 1 hour, 4 nights a week. So we're going to have all these restaurants and all these businesses come for 1 hour when we already are open 7, 8, 9 hours. And you're going to add this with just 1 hour is going to make such a difference. Please remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson.
Good evening. My name is Kelsey Van Avery. I'm a Starkville resident. I went to Millsaps College, did graduate studies in biology at Ole Miss, but I really did want to go to Mississippi State. I grew up in Columbus. And I have a son that went to state, was on the baseball team. He didn't get to play, but he was on, and a daughter who graduated from state in kinesiology and is now a pediatric emergency room nurse, so I do have state ties. I'm speaking out against this in spite of the fact I think it's going to pass. I think it's no doubt going to pass. Sort of a lost cause, but I like being in the minority, kind of like Man of La Mancha tilting at windmills or Liberty University beating Baylor. And for those of you who don't follow football, that's a football analogy. I've got my Dancing Rabbit golf shirt on here. I'm part Indian, about 1/16. My brother works at an Indian reservation as a social worker. Alcohol is a huge problem on reservations. It's legendary. All the studies done on Indian reservations show that alcohol can be and is addictive. There are actually withdrawals or DTs. Everybody's familiar with that. A few quick studies. Nursing women who drink 1 drink of alcohol can give 20% less milk to their infants that they are nursing. That's the American Academy of Pediatrics Study 2012. We all know drinking alcohol causes cirrhosis of the liver, pancreatitis, neurotoxin effects such as memory loss. These are well documented. I've got the studies if you want to read them. 20,000 people roughly a year are killed in vehicular accidents due to alcohol relating driving deaths. But in spite of all that, in spite of all the death, all this illness that alcohol causes, we don't care. We don't really care, do we? I mean, there's no skin off our back. We really love our alcohol, don't we? Now, Starkville is voting to increase something that is detrimental to society. Anybody that says it's not detrimental to society is anti-science. I'll just put that out right now. And I'm going to prove it. I don't think the mayor or any of you would vote for an ordinance right now to do away with DUI or DWI. I don't think any of you would have the gumption to do that, would you? Therefore, you know deep down, you know that alcohol has some detrimental effects. All right, just a few more things. There's always collateral effects. It will increase the noise in the wee hours of the morning. Hopefully those who go home inebriated will have good manners. But I know from my drinking buddy days at Millsaps, my buddies did not have good manners when they were inebriated. Their manners actually got worse. So all the horn tooting, scratching off, driving with loud mufflers, hopefully that won't happen. We'll leave the police, hopefully the police will take care of that. There will be increased tickets for DUI. In fact, I wonder if that's going to be a boon to Starkville. Money-wise, I wonder if that even part of the reason this has been passed. Follow the money, follow the money.
Mr. Van,
One-
would you put the mic down, because you're.
It's too much. No, it's-
Just a little bit.
I couldn't hear,
And
I couldn't hear half the people who were speaking.
And I'm going to give you one more minute.
All right, one more minute. Good question to y'all. Will there be buses available to take home students and citizens who are inebriated at the 1 o'clock hour? Now, I'm an attorney. I practice in oil and gas. I'm not liability. But I wonder, I'm sure your city attorney's gone over the liability with y'all about this. If somebody's killed or injured or maimed coming home drunk, will Starkville's liability be lessened if you have buses available? That's going to be a great cost to the city to have them running at that hour. All right, last thing, college kids will be enticed to go drink and not study, but who cares if 5, 10, 20 students drop out? Again, who cares about people? We care about the money. One last thing, the irony of this is some of these people with businesses who are pushing this ordinance, there's going to be an influx of a lot of new businesses and bars and restaurants that will possibly put them out of business. That irony is very, very thick.
Thank you, sir. All right, that concludes the public, excuse me, I'm sorry, let me reset my thing. That concludes the second public hearing on the amendment to the alcohol ordinance for the city. So everyone's had an opportunity to speak, and we will now go to the first public hearing on the repeal of the administrative adjudicated hearing ordinance. Now, I'm guessing that there are just dozens of people out there who would like to talk to this particular issue. Let me explain what it is real quick so that we can see if anybody might actually want to talk about it. It is a house cleaning effort. We had an adjudicative hearing ordinance officer who would take care of things like code enforcement and overgrown grass and things of that nature. And unfortunately, we were notified by the Attorney General of Mississippi that that was not a method we could use to solve that. So we are doing house cleaning in the sense that we are repealing an ordinance that no longer is effective. And so it is just an opportunity to make sure that our ordinances are applicable and they are workable and legal. So, anybody want to talk about that? No. Okay. Well, I will open it as a public hearing, close it as a public hearing, and we will go to the last one, which is the first public hearing on amending the smoking ordinance. This is to bring electronic cigarettes, which were not invented at the time we passed our smoking ordinance in 2008, into line with some of the things that have been developed since, which are the e-cigarettes. So I will open that as a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to the issue of e-cigarettes or adding electronic cigarettes as a part of what is prohibited in our no smoking ordinance? Anyone? Yes, sir. You would state your name, please.
My name is Cleveland Tyler. I actually live in Choctaw County, but I am employed by 1810 Vapors in Starkville, Mississippi. I'm also a sales rep for National Juice Company out of Alabama. I'm here tonight to I love my job. I love what I do, and I love interacting with people. I love the fact that I have the ability of giving somebody, which has helped me for the past 3 years, put cigarettes down. Matter of fact, the day that I got my first vaporizer, I quit smoking that day. Haven't touched a cigarette in 3 years. I've read somewhat. I haven't had a lot of time. This was put on me this morning, actually, so I've made plans to be here. Somebody made a comment during the alcohol amendment about choices. I would like to see the ability of having the choice for the business to regulate the internal use. Our business for the vape side of it is juice. That is a daily product that we sell. And in order for a customer to come in and choose what it is, we give them the option of tasting that juice. With the smoking ban, that puts that null and void. We won't be able to do that inside the business.
When you say juice, you're talking about as
What we call the liquid that we put in our vaporizers is e-juice.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Not a problem. With the ban in place, we won't be allowed to let consumers try the juice. Therefore, I've seen it. Matter of fact, when I lived in DeSoto County in South Haven, we had a shop in Senatobia, Mississippi. They put the smoking ban in, it was not even probably a month later that shop closed down. Business cut, null and void. I mean, they went from making probably on average about $600 to $800 a day to where they were pulling in maybe 100. People just quit. They didn't have the ability to try juice. Nobody wanted to come in and do it. So, like I said, I love my job. I love the fact that we have, my boss is actually here today. He actually opened up a shop in Columbus, Mississippi. If the ban goes through, I just feel like the business that we have in Starkville is gonna go by. And I don't want to see that. So thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, anyone else wishing to speak on this particular matter? Yes, sir.
Mayor, Board, thanks for hearing me out. My name is Joseph Infinger. I actually live in Saltillo. Looking to move up here soon. I opened the business on Stark Road that Cleveland was talking about, 1810 Vapors, right about a year ago almost. We are in the business of harm reduction. We're trying to save lives with vapor products. I was a 2.5 pack a day smoker 3 years ago, weighed about 260 pounds, wouldn't have been able to get up, walk to this podium. Vaping helped clear my lungs up, helped my life, helped me get into this position. With the smoking ban in place, we have several customers that come in. If they have issues with their devices and they cannot vape indoors, I'm not going to be able to troubleshoot those. I'm not going to be able to get those customers back in business, back running their products how they should be. That's detrimental to the health and well-being of a lot of the citizens of this town. I have at least 500 customers, according to my computer database earlier, that I've accumulated in the past year. In the past couple months, I've set up at least 50 brand new vapors, getting them off of cigarettes. I'm helping save cancer patients, helping people with MS, any kind of diseases that the actual tobacco, the combustible tobacco, hurts. Vaping product does not do that. There's no secondhand vapor. You can literally, if I was to hit my vaporizer right next to you, you would smell it. That would be all it would do to you. And with the smoking ban, I think it's going to hurt rolling us into that. Just wanted y'all to hear my opinion. Thank y'all very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello, my name is Yolanda Pruitt, and I'm the project director with the Mississippi Tobacco Free Coalition of Oktibbeha, Clay, and Lowndes County. I am actually speaking against the speaking for adding the e-cigarette to the current ordinance. First of all, I would like to commend Starkville because they were one of the first cities and the only city in the Golden Triangle to have a 100% smoke-free comprehensive ordinance. And studies have shown the only way to protect non-smokers from secondhand smoke is to have these ordinances in place. So we definitely want to look at that. It has been found that the vape from the e-cigarette does actually have nicotine in it, which is the addictive substance that makes it hard for you to quit once you actually start smoking. Also, the FDA is currently actually looking into the e-cigarette to see about actually regulating it and to see if the juices have chemicals in them that could be hazardous to the body. So this is still a fairly, very new thing, the e-cigarette with the FDA, and it's still a lot of research being done on that to see if it's actually hazardous to the body. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pruitt. Okay, did I see one other, yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate your time for a few minutes up here to speak on behalf of vaping. I went to school here from my 3rd grade to my 9th grade, so I'm sure that we shared a lot of...
What's your name?
Rob Roberts.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roberts.
I'm proud to be, got a lot of my formal education in this town. The college level is a little bit more thinking, it's a little higher, a step up in the communication process. And I've got a couple of stats that I'd really like to, that I know by heart. There was 480,000 people died last year from smoking cigarettes. That's in the United States alone. That is unbelievable number. Cigarettes have to go. We all agree with that. There's nearly 10 million people that vape right now. Over 40 million people are still smoking cigarettes. We are on full board we are on board to regulate smoking in any of the public places. That makes a lot of sense. It's very obvious when I look at this ordinance right here Looks like there's gonna be more signs gotta be put in place. I've already picked out how much the fines are gonna be. The only people that I see that are gonna be affected from this is your local vape shop here, 1810 Vapors. And I would like for y'all to be fully aware that anything y'all do here in the Golden Triangle is gonna be escalated into Columbus, into West Point. We really need to put our heads together here and make the correct choice. And any vote against vaping is for smoking cigarettes. And cigarettes got to go. I lost my wife in 2006 after 18 years of marriage, and I guarantee it'll change your mind. I guarantee it'll change your mind. Vaping needs to stay.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Roberts. Thank you.
Mayor, Alderman, my name is Mike Jeffcoat, and I'm Vice President of the Mississippi Vaping Advocacy Association. We represent about 130 companies in Mississippi that lease over 200,000 square feet of retail space. Our industry is anti-smoking. The Royal College of Physicians, which is the most prestigious set of doctors in the world, it was founded in 1508, is behind vaping. I would like to leave this with y'all. They have proven that vaping is at least 95% safer than smoking a combustible cigarette. They are approaching it in a completely different manner than the FDA. They are putting it out to the public to use and to wean them off of traditional tobacco. This is a new technology. It is life-saving. The people that are getting into this, my wife smoked for 35 years. I smoked for 36. My son smoked for 22. I have quit smoking. I still vape. I'm in the industry. My wife has quit smoking. My son has quit smoking. They've quit vaping completely. This is a doable thing. You walk your way down on your nicotine levels and you wean yourself off combustible tobacco. When I represent all these people that are in this industry, we're talking employment of close to 1,000 people in this state. We bring in money from all over the world, internationally. A lot of these products are manufactured, like 1810, right here in Mississippi. This is a good, viable business, and I would really implore y'all to think about what you're doing. You know, we understand reasonable regulation, but when you're telling this man right here that he can't vape, if you say he's got a handicapped person and they're bedridden, their 80-year-old husband comes in there and brings the vaporizer because her doctor don't want her smoking. He can't even repair the vaporizer because he can't vape it in his business. It's crazy. We're trying to save lives. We're not trying to hurt people. Please, please take it into consideration before y'all make a decision and make vaping. We are the way of the future. This is a $13 billion industry. In the next 4 years, it's estimated to be close to a $30 billion industry. The FDA has taken a new approach since the new administration is in, and they are taking a reconsideration under the draconian rules that the Obama administration had laid down against vaping. They had no science. There is no science. The science is here, right here. I'm going to leave this, if you don't mind, I'm going to set it right here. The science is evolving, and the new head of the FDA, Scott Gottlieb, has taken a completely new stance, and he put about an hour conversation out to the public and was addressing the new technology that is available to the public to reduce the tobacco harm reduction. So please take it into consideration. I'm not going to drag on anymore. Just please make sure y'all think about this before you kill vaping. It is a life-saving technology.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
I want to say something, please. Again, I'm coming before you, I'm listening to all this vapor and all this bathroom and all this. You know, I'm not really sure of what's going on, but I do know I've been told that smoking is detrimental to my health. I want to live. I want to live, and I think if you put this to include the electronic cigarettes in the definition of smoking products, maybe one day we'll understand why. But right now, I don't understand if you're still vaping and you still smoking. I don't understand it, and I most definitely don't want it on me. I would just like to say, please consider, just including it with the other cigarette policies that we do have in place. Because I hate to come out and right indoors, you can smell the smoke before you get to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ivey. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, how are you all? My name is Allison Tiffin. I'm actually a Starkville resident. I work for the American Cancer Society, and I've actually been with the American Cancer Society for going on 20 years. And I think we can all see how addictive nicotine has become, and it's very interesting to hear some of the latest information about vaping. I did just want to share with you that I am very much in favor of adding e-cigarettes to the language, and maybe even going into more detail than just saying electronic cigarettes. I was actually involved with the original ordinance of the smoke-free ordinance here in Starkville, Robert McMillan and several other very concerned citizens, and I just have to commend the city of Starkville because we are leaders in the state of Mississippi and elsewhere. We were one of the very first municipalities to go smoke-free, which did include restaurant and bars. And actually at the time, it just kind of brings back memories. At the time, it was the restaurant industry that we had to really kind of guard ourselves against. Because they really thought it was going to hurt. You remember? They thought it was going to, kill business. Everybody was going to be really upset about this. And now, at the time, I didn't even know anything about e-cigarettes, and I don't think that they had actually been invented at that point. But I did just kind of want to share some of the most recent facts about tobacco. As you guys know, tobacco use is the leading cause of preventable heart disease, cancer, and death in the United States. We have a real problem. He mentioned that tobacco products kill an estimated 480,000 Americans each year. Did you know that 42,000 of those were actually a result from secondhand smoke exposure? It is definitely a public health issue, whether it's in the form of a cigarette, a cigarillo, a cigar, an electronic cigarette, whatever you want to call it, a hookah. There's all kinds of names for it. It is tobacco. And what they might want you to believe is that it could be used as a form of nicotine replacement therapy. And nowhere is the evidence saying that this should be used as a nicotine replacement therapy. There's all kinds of anecdotal evidence out there that this may be, and I think that they are actually looking at that as a possibility. Many of you might be familiar with the nicotine replacement therapy that's out there with just all kinds of aids, from using something in pill form or the chewing gum, the nicotine gum. It just shows you how addictive nicotine is. I did want to share some key messages from the 2016 Surgeon General's report, Dr. Murthy. E-cigarettes are now the most commonly used tobacco product among young people. The aerosol from e-cigarettes often contains nicotine and other harmful ingredients, which is unsafe for the user and those who breathe it in secondhand. Research has shown that youth who use e-cigarettes are more likely to go on to use other tobacco products, such as regular cigarettes. And many of you might not know, but that e-cigarettes were developed by the tobacco industry because they could see that we were being successful in our tobacco-free campaigns. And so, just a few more statistics. In 2015, more than a quarter of middle and high school students said they tried e-cigarettes. Exposure to nicotine by pregnant women, including secondhand exposure to the aerosols from e-cigarettes, can harm a developing fetus. While nicotine is highly addictive at any age, it is especially dangerous for youth and young adults. And really, all e-cigarettes do are really make it a very appealing. They're very cool devices, and if you haven't, Googled them online, take a look at them. The juice that they were referring to, it's difficult to know if the juice actually contains nicotine because you can buy the vials with certain percentages of nicotine within them, but it's the other chemicals in them as well that creates the aerosol that is very dangerous, not just to the people around you that aren't smoking it, but also to the individual user. There's basically three kinds of smoke: the kind that goes in, the kind that comes off of the device, and then the kind that's exhaled. So you're really getting quite a bit of exposure from all three. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Okay.
I was wondering if the forward, forward, if we had just a few more minutes, I'd like to enlighten on something.
Actually, you do. You have about 2 more minutes.
All right, that's plenty. All right. Cleveland Fowler again. As it has been pointed out, as of August 8th of 2016, the vaping was then, or as of then, was considered a tobacco product. The only thing that is tobacco in e-juice or the liquid is nicotine. That is considered tobacco. We use vegetable glycerin, which is no more than just glorified cooking oil. We use propylene glycol, which anybody that knows propylene glycol or packs of ketchup, honey mustard from Chick-fil-A or most any other restaurants, propylene glycol is a preservative. And then the flavoring. The flavoring is no more than like Capella, Flavor Arts, the Flavor Apprentice, which is food grade flavorings. I mean, it's in almost any food product that you can get is the same flavorings we put in e-juice. The only thing outside that they don't use in medical or the food industry is the nicotine. Nicotine is, I mean, there's a bunch of different studies, and depending on who you see the study and who funds it, you might get different opinions out of it. But nicotine is also found in nightshade plants. One of the highest containing is eggplant, okay? I've read a study myself that's found that nicotine is no more addictive than caffeine, which caffeine is highly addictive, I guess, in its own little way. But there has been, matter of fact, the new director of the FDA has already said, actually, I don't think it was him, there are studies and tests right now to find out how to do medicine administration through vaping, because vaping is not smoking. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. All right. We will close the public hearing.
Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to be recognized first on the next item, please.
I'm sorry, let me broke me off here. Hang on just a second. All right. Next item, we've closed the public hearing on this matter, and it will be coming up again. That's where I was going to say that this is the first public hearing. The next public hearing will be at the next board meeting. So this item will come up again, as will the administrative hearing officer ordinance. That was how I wanted to conclude that. I'm sorry, I have a request, Mr. Miller, from.
Before we get to that, I have something with that ordinance.
Oh, I'm
If
sorry.
I may make a comment.
Yes, you may make a comment as it relates to the
Smoking.
e-cigarette ordinance. Yes, ma'am.
Smoking. Starkville was an early adopter of a non-smoking ordinance, and it prohibits smoking in certain outdoor areas and in indoor public places. So we've been at this a while. We understand how that works. There are businesses that have found an appropriate way to do the things that y'all are concerned about. What I would like for us to do is consider expanding the language, not to focus just on the e-cigarettes, but on whatever that next generation of product is going to be, because there will be a next generation of product. And so I've taken the opportunity to reach out to the people who helped us write our non-smoking ordinance, and I have a definition of smoking that is a little more expansive than what was in the original ordinance, and I would like, I can read that, I can pass that on down to y'all, but I would like for that to be considered when we have our second public hearing. Thank you.
Yes. And we can include that in the next ordinance and have
Yes.
that as the next part of a public hearing. Yes, Alderman Carver.
Is there still a cigar shop within the Cotton District or anywhere in town? And how does this affect that
Believe it
type
is.
of?
I believe it is there.
It's
Isn't it there,
gone.
Chief? Is it closed? Recently, okay. Well, I knew it was there not too long ago.
But not because of the city. Right. Not, the city didn't require them to close.
I guess I'll say my thoughts on this might have changed a little bit tonight and just in the last week or two doing some research. I think that what we're trying to do is to ban smoking in all traditional places that we normally consider banning cigarette smoke, which is restaurants and bars. And I was one that was highly skeptical of this years ago. I guess the negative naysayers were saying that it would affect the businesses downtown, all over town, bars, restaurants. What actually happened over time was quite the opposite. More people enjoyed going out because they didn't have the smell of cigarettes when they left. Maybe this young generation can't even remember those days, but you go to a restaurant and just you'd leave smelling like smoke. Your kids, your family, and so I'm not opposed to doing. I don't know if it's too late in the ball game, but to have an exclusion solely for areas of business who basically are vaping shops or cigar shops. So, if it's a one-liner we could add in there, I'd be in favor of it that says, we do ban cigarettes and we do ban e-cigarettes in restaurants anywhere that's not their sole source of income is the sale of tobacco. And that should not include, obviously, gas stations, convenience stores, but a vaping shop should be able to sell vaping equipment. A cigar shop should be able to sell cigars or tobacco of any kind and any product. I think that's the correct thing to do. I think we'll work on this in the next week or two. It may be too late in this cycle to work on that, honestly. But I don't know that you should, tell a business they can't come here. I do think we need to realize the economic impact of vaping and the billions. That's with a B that you hear that's happening right now. The health side of that is that the FDA, in my opinion, I don't think that it's finalized. I don't think all the findings are finalized on e-cigarettes. I'm not so sure I'm sold on them either way. But what I would say is that if someone's going to a vaping business, they have full intentions of knowing what they're walking into, literally. The same with a cigar shop. I'd hate to say, is this pretty much going to close all doors of, the only one I knew about was in the Cotton District, but I guess this would forevermore close any type of indoor smoking at a cigar shop?
No, the only thing that's changed is adding e-cigarettes to this definition of what is considered controlled. It will change nothing. I mean, if we left it alone, that cigar shop could still be open. So this is nothing but adding e-cigarettes to.
They just can't smoke inside the doors.
Well, I think they have a special room that they had developed upstairs that they were smoking at, but it wasn't public. It was like a.
They can smoke
space.
inside a cigar shop?
Yeah, but it was a non-public space that they used to smoke inside the shop.
Well, I guess to the vaping community here, would that pertain to them as well, as long as there's a room that's a non-public space? Do y'all understand that to be correct?
Yeah, the whole store makes sense. That's how most vape shops run across the country. You're in the vape shop, you can vape.
And there is no such thing as second-hand vape. I mean, that's like.
No, we've had the discussion. If you're answering Alderman Carver's question, you may do so, but that's all.
I would like to hear.
For vape shops, because of like rents and everything and budgeting, they're very, very small. The shop that we have here in Starkville has a bathroom, I guess you would call it like a mini warehouse or storage closet, and then maybe a main office that we use for more storage. But we only have one main room as far as the whole shop's concerned.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm just going to do more research into this. So.
Okay. Anyone else want to speak to this issue? Okay. All right. We need to give Alderman Walker an opportunity to recuse himself for this next item on the agenda. Okay, the next item on the agenda is consideration of the appointment to the school board, of a school board member to fill the position held by Ann Strickland with a term ending March 2019. And Alderman Miller has asked for recognition.
Mayor, I'd like to move to appoint Mr. Sumner Davis to the school board.
All right, I have a motion to appoint Sumner Davis to the school board. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Alderman Carver? Alderman Carver. All right, discussion.
I'd like to discuss.
Yes, sir.
First of all, no matter what happens tonight, oftentimes you get in these situations, and I think with alcohol is an example, and this is an example, oftentimes the vote are always already in place long before we get here. The candidates we've have, anybody that gets in tonight, I'll be pleased with. I think that any school district in the state of Mississippi would be pleased with any of these candidates. My personal opinion is having just a connection, worked with Mr. Davis over, I guess, 2,000 hours a year for 7 or 8 years in a row. And I've seen all the presentations, a lot of the presentations he's done in seminars, conventions. I know just a tip of the iceberg of what I've seen him talk about on taxation, school board matters, And so I guess that's my connection, is having just years on end with Mr. Davis. That was what my opinion while I vote for him. However, whoever gets on the school board tonight is going to be great for the community. The community, and the reason I see we have more individuals here tonight on a school board appointment than we normally have in the rest of the year, you'll see this will be the highest turnout, is that this community is on the verge with the creation of the campus school, and this recent consolidation is to probably be one of the leading schools in the state of Mississippi. People understand that, people realize that, and they know what we're on the verge of. Again, I say to each and every one of these candidates, this is probably the toughest decision I've ever made by far for school board appointment, and probably anything I've dealt with in the 9 years as an alderman, because these are three phenomenal candidates. And I think that everybody in the room has said that many times tonight, but I wanted to explain first and foremost my thoughts. I didn't want there to be any negativity of why I voted for who I did, but I did get to work with Mr. Davis for about 7 or 8 years, and I understand a little bit of how much he does know about this matter, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Discussion. Alderman Vaughn.
I say good evening to the audience. They've been so patient waiting on this moment. I'm going to take you back 9 years ago when I first became alderman. The very first board meeting, I went home with tears in my eyes because I felt I'd never seen so much injustice and unfairness during my very first night. I said that to say this, I know the deck is already stacked. I already know that before I get here. But one thing we can see, some of the board members that sharing this table with us, they said a couple of years ago, the last two visits that Doc brought here, she was the most qualified. She had the best presentation. She was well presented. I want to see what these people say now since they back on this board. I want to see where they vote gonna go. That's the most important thing to me. I want to see where they vote gonna go tonight. Because when we was out there on the campaign trail, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Tonight is gonna tell a story. What are we really gonna do? We make promises when we're on the campaign trail, and then when it all get down to the true facts, I lied. But one thing, I remember what Martin Luther King, he said, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their characters. Are we going to let race play a position here tonight take place? Or are we going to let color take place? Or are we going to go with the best candidate for the job, but we all going to sit here and listen it time and time again? Because I know 5 of us can sit here and listen. Maybe 6 of us can sit here and heard her interview numerous of times. I'm just wondering, how is this going to play out? But one thing I can say, what Michael said in 6 and 8, he said, do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Now, only thing I'm going to ask you, follow your heart. Now, if you can't follow your heart, you lied to the oath that we took when we first were sworn in. You're going to lie on this oath. Now, I'm just going to see where you're going to go, because you promised. I'm elected by the people, for the people, and other people. I'm going to do the right thing. That will be said. But I just want to know, where are we going to go tonight? Where are we going to go? Because we done heard Dr. Prince over and over. This is a 3rd time here. This is a 3rd time. And to me, it ain't about color, because I very rarely know Dr. Prince. It ain't about no color. It's about the best person with the best person for the job. That's what it's about. And we say we want the quality of life for every child. We say that. We say we want the quality of life for everybody in Mississippi, in Starkville. We say that all the time at this board. Do we want the best quality of life for these children that we finna make this decision about tonight? This ain't about you. This ain't about me. This ain't about them. It's about these children that we finna make the decision for. That's what it's about. It ain't about me. That's what this is about. So please, don't be misled by what somebody's telling you. I know you got friends out there. I know some of y'all got friends that apply for this, that was sitting here, been on an interview. I know some of your friends. But don't let friendship make you do wrong. Do right. That's all they ask us to do right, make the best decision for the students in the city of Starkville. That's all they ask us for. I can't help because you used to work for him, or I used to work for him, or he's my friend. I can't help that. Just do what is right. Follow your heart. And y'all know who the best interview came from. You know that. You know it by far where it came from. So if we sit here and make this decision tonight, you gonna go to sleep. You the one ain't gonna go to sleep. Mr. Vaughn go home and go to sleep. I tell you that all the time. You ask me, how do I go home and go to sleep? Because when I come here, I ask God to give me the guidance and the direction to make the best decision that will glorify Him, not me, but Him. But when you ask me, how did you sleep last night? Hey, they ain't gonna be mine. I'm gonna sleep.
All right, thank you, Alderman Vaughn. Anyone else? Anything else to say? Anything else? All right, I have a motion, I have a second. No further discussion. I'm going to ask for a roll call vote on this one, please, ma'am. So would you please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name?
Alderman Carver.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Nay.
Alderman Little.
Yay.
Alderman Miller.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Nay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Nay.
All right, we have a 3-3 ties. I understand it, which brings it to me because we have a recusal, that leaves me in a position to break this tie. And what I'm going to say about this is, it does matter to me that we have 3 extraordinary candidates, and I know 2 of them personally, having gotten to know Alderman Davis when he was an alderman and I was a CAO. I got to know Deborah recently, Dr. Prince recently, when I was running for mayor. So I have a great respect and a great appreciation for both of them on a personal level. I do not know Ms. Long, although I have met with her. I find that there are elements to this. Each one of them has their own strengths. Alderman Davis has a strong background in policy and a strong background in finance, so he would be excellent for the board from a taxing standpoint and from a finance standpoint. Dr. Prince has an extraordinary background in education, and Ms. Long has an extraordinary background in involvement in the community as education. So one of the things that I am finding important to me is that we do have that equitable representation. And I'm not talking about race, I'm talking about gender. It is important to me to see more than one woman on that board. And so in this case, I'm going to vote nay. And it pains me greatly because I considered Sumner Davis a friend, and this has been a very difficult decision for me. So I say that, I'm sorry. Okay. I say that because this is a vote that I had hoped would not come my way, but it obviously has, and I have to do what I think is right. So, Alderman Carver.
Well, if he wants to go, he can.
Yeah, Vice Mayor. Yes. I'm sorry. I didn't see you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Or you?
No, I concluded. I voted nay.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, at this time, I'm going to offer a motion, and the motion is to appoint Dr. Deborah Prince to fill the vacant position on the Board of Trustees of the Starkville Octavia Hall Consolidated School District, with the term to end March of 2019, and that she assume this position effective immediately.
I second that vote, Mayor.
I have a second
That motion.
I have a second from Alderman Miller. Further discussion? Do we have discussion? No discussion?
Start the vote down there.
I will do that. We would ask the city clerk if you would answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name, please. And been a request that we start at the other end of the table, please.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Miller.
Yay.
Alderman Little.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay.
Alderman Carr.
Yay.
All right, by a vote of 6. Guys, please don't make me bang the gavel. I hate banging the gavel. All right, congratulations, Dr. Prince. The third time was the charm.
Mayor. Okay.
We appreciate your attendance, we appreciate your involvement and making your views known to us. It is important, we'll give you an opportunity to clear the room. Alderman.
I move we have a quick recess.
All right, we've been asked to go into recess. We will go for a 10-minute recess. We'll be back at 5 minutes to 8. Ladies and gentlemen, we have only a couple more matters to take up. And we now have a quorum back in the building, so we're back in the room, so we will begin again. The next item is the consideration of amending the ordinance of 2009-06 Municipal Code Section Chapter 10 relating to the sale of alcohol within the city of Starkville, Mississippi, referencing distance, hours of sale, and percentage of content. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve this ordinance with one exception. Looking at the hours, I think there's been a fair amount of discussion that people have had amongst that we've heard from citizens and other places, and I believe there is valid concern. I believe that there is fairly amount of economic viability for looking at making some of these changes. I believe that the change in the alcohol content is meeting what's already happening in town and happening in the state. I do believe that it is in the long-term best interest of our community to meet the state statute of 100 feet from a church or a school. Primarily, I look at that as not so much that it's going to be a restaurant or a bar located there, but what it's going to do is going to give the marketplace the maximum flexibility it can as we move forward. If we want to have a viable downtown in the future, it's probably not all going to be niche retail. It's not going to be all restaurants and bars. It is going to be a combination. But when you look at the trajectory of where retail is going in our country, with the vast percentage, growing percentage of that happening via the internet, when Amazon begins to threaten the Walmarts of the world, there's going to be less and less opportunity for your main street to be totally nothing but niche retail. In order for that to happen, you have to be able to create places where people are going to socially interact. That is going to be restaurants. It's going to be places like that. In my mind, this gives Starkville the most flexibility it can as for the downtown to continue to develop. So I'm fully supportive of that. I believe it gives us the most flexibility to move downtown. I think where reasonable people can have disagreements, you can have disagreements about all these, but I think one of the places where it's more apt to have some disagreements is the hours of the sale. I do believe that we need to change that, and that's why I'm willing to propose a compromise from what has been proposed in the public hearings this far, where 7 to 1 across the board. My compromise is going to be the only change is that Thursdays go to 1 a.m. and that Sundays go to midnight. Everything else stays the same. So now that's going to be Monday through Wednesday, you're at 12, Thursday through Saturday, you're at 1, and and Sunday, you're at midnight. And with that, Mayor, I will pass that to the city attorney, and I'll read that out loud. An ordinance amending the city's ordinance related to alcoholic beverages to increase the hours of sale, adjust the definition of beer to conform to state statute, and to adjust the distance requirements for sale of alcoholic beverages to conform to state statute.
Okay. I have a motion that's been read into the record. I will not repeat it. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
I have a second from Alderman Sistrunk.
Can you repeat those hours one more time? I was writing them down.
Yes.
Yeah, you can just read it. I will read what's stated in here now as the hours of sale. No beer or light wine shall be sold for on-premises or off-premises consumption between the hours of 12 midnight and 7 a.m. on Monday through Wednesday. The legal hour shall be extended on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights from 12 midnight to 1 a.m. No beer or light wine shall be sold for on-premises or off-premises consumption between the hours of 1 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Sunday and after 12 midnight on Sunday night.
Okay. Is that clear? Everyone's clear? I have a, excuse me, I have a motion, I have a second from Alderman Sistrunk. Discussion.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I know the night has grown long, but this is a matter that is very dear to me, and it is not only dear to me, but it is also dear and important to me, as well as many of my constituents and others in the city of Starkville. What this ordinance is attempting to do, it has three components. The first component that I will allude to, in which many of my constituents and others, as well as myself, are adamant about, is against lowering the distance from 250 feet to 100 feet with regard to churches, child care facilities, schools, and funeral homes. The second aspect of the ordinance will extend the hours to 1 a.m. The gentleman from 4 has modified that, will be to be 1 a.m. On Thursday going to Friday morning, and to 12 on Sunday night, where now on Sundays it is from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. The third proponent of this measure is to increase the alcohol content in beer from 5% to 8%. And I want to make one thing clear, Mr. Attorney, and if I'm incorrect, I stand to be corrected. I have heard the word used that we're going to do some housekeeping. It's a clerical error. I don't think that there's any clerical error in our statute. The wording on the definition section in the statute is that it allows an alcohol content not to exceed 8% in content. So it is my opinion and interpretation that the city of Starkville is not under a legal mandate. We're not under a legal obligation to increase that alcohol content from 5% to 8%. So, in other words, Mr. Attorney, I'm of the legal opinion that it is not a mandate, but it is discretionary with this governing body. Is that a correct statement, Mr. Attorney?
It is.
Now, I want to make it clear to those who are listening in this evening, and to those that are joining in with us via other means. By no means am I against establishments selling beer, whiskey, alcohol, and wine. By no means am I against those who choose to drink. What we are against is we are against lowering the distance primarily from 250 feet to 100 feet. 100 feet, as one of the opponents of this measure has already stated, is the equivalent of 3 exact first down yards on a football field. In other words, standing at the 0 and the 1 and go 33 and a third yard out, that is 100 feet. And that is in close proximity to God's house. If we put it in further context here tonight, if you stand at this back wall that's right behind me to the wall where their clock is, that is a total of 62 feet. And so we only need an additional 38 feet. So if we were to walk straight where that clock is, out that door to that glass door, we're 82 feet from that wall. So we only need another 18 feet. And so my constituents and I are of the mindset that when we talk about alcohol in the church, you know, this is very important to us. And let me tell you about my Savior. And I don't want to talk about anybody else's Savior. You know, God is been so good to me. You know, and when we talk about the church is a religious place. The church is a sacred place. You know, I was born and raised in the church. You know, I was born in the church and was on what they call the mourner's bench a long time ago. So I confessed Christ at an early age and baptized in an old country pool. So, you know, when we talk about the church needs to be separated from the world. You know, when you go to church and the worshipers go to church, the worshipers do not need to see all of the atmosphere and the environment that goes along with these drinking establishments. And, you know, and we've heard some talk about these, this only going to be a few establishments. It's going to be downtown, but once this ordinance is passed, it will have citywide implication. The attorney, Mr. Van Every, said earlier tonight, he said that this is a lost cause. And I want to take that a step further. This is not a lost cause, because even though, as Mr. Van Every said, the votes may be here, the victory may be tonight, but my victory is going to be on the day of judgment. When my servants say, servant, you have given the best of service, and you have done a great job. You know, and this is serious to me. You may smile out there, you may laugh, but I'm talking about my Savior. I'm talking about a God of goodness, a God of love, a God who so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have an everlasting life. The God that I have been serving for over 60 years, he went to Calvary. And when he went to Calvary, they stretched him wide, ladies and gentlemen. He hung on the cross. They nailed him to the cross. He died. And it was said earlier, but when he died, he was buried. But the goodness and the greatness of my God, he didn't stay. He didn't stay in the grave. The grave was not powerful enough to contain him. And my God went to the cross for the forgiveness of our sins. And more specifically, he went to the cross for the forgiveness of my sins. God is a merciful God. God is my light, my salvation, my refuge, and the strength of my life. We do not need to bring all of this whiskey, this beer, and alcohol in the sight of God's church. There are enough places in this city of Starkville to drink your joy juice, your alcohol, or whatever you want to call it. We don't need to see all this worldly stuff. The church does not need to compete with these drinking establishments. When I go to church, I need to hear Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound. I need to hear that God has spoken. Let the church say amen. I don't need to be hearing, and other constituents do not need to be hearing all this boogie music. We do not need to see all of the cups. We do not need to see all of the appearances. God is he's a merciful God. He's a God of love. He's my healer. He's my protector. God is the one that I am accountable to. He is the one that I am going to have to face on the day of judgment. The book of Matthew says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things should be added thereafter. Economic development is not going to get me to heaven. Additional revenue is not going to get me to heaven. I remember 4 years ago, on a 4-3 vote, they say, well, we want to have Sunday sales on Sunday. Started the Sunday sales at 11 a.m. on worship time. It's preaching time. And now, 8 years later, here we are. We want to move the fence to 100 feet of the church. The church is sacred. The church is where preaching takes place. The church is where God's word is preached from Genesis to Revelation. The church is to be kept sacred. The church is to be kept holy. Somebody got to stand and say something. God, I'm with you. God, I'm for you. God, I'm going to get outvoted tonight, but on the day of judgment, I want you to say, servant, you've been a great, excellent, and a faithful servant. Enter into my kingdom. God, while I'm here, I'm going to give the best of service. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to give the best of service because as long as I fight for God, that is the right thing to do. God is not pleased with this, having these establishments that sell alcohol, beer, whiskey, and wine in such close proximity to the church is frowned upon by God. You know, when you go to church, you don't need to be 100 feet. Imagine 82 feet is out there at that glass window, another 18 feet. You got to see all this worldly stuff. You got to see all these appearances. You got to hear all this OJ music, the Luther Vandross, the Johnny Cash, all this feel-good music, turn out the lights, Mississippi Girl, all that kind of stuff. We don't want to hear all that. The world needs to be set aside from God's church. The church is where we have the communion on Sundays. I don't get up to get dressed on a Sunday morning and just to be going through the motion to go out there. I go to church for a purpose. I go to church because I believe in my Lord Jesus Christ, who is my Savior. I go out there to worship him. I don't need to be looking at no alcohol and sin. I don't need that aroma hitting me in the face. I'm trying to get in the house of God. We need to make sure we keep these establishments away from God's house. It is holy. It is sanctified. And not only do we want to keep it near God's house, but you want to extend the hours. You got enough time already to get all your joy juice and your drink at 10 o'clock on Sundays now. Now we want to extend it to 12 o'clock. We want to extend it to 12 o'clock. This is a community of Christian values. There are a lot of people who did not come out tonight but said, Alderman Perkins and Vice Mayor, will you stand tonight? If you got to stand all by yourself, I told them I am a child of God. I am a servant of God. God has been good to me. He's been my light. He's been my protector. He's been my healer. He's the reason that I'm still here. I cannot turn my back on him. I cannot walk away from him. I'm going to stand for you, God. God, you're a merciful God. You're a God of goodness. You're a God of greatness. God, you're just so good. We do not need to allow this alcohol, whiskey, and beer to be coming up into God's door. Somebody got to speak up for God in this community. Now, I already knew before I got here tonight, Mr. Cameraman over there, that this community was going to get those who share the opinions that I have was going to get outvoted tonight. But that doesn't matter to me at this point because God says do what is right. Because that's where the ultimate victory is going to come. Because when I stand before him, I'm going to say, God, I gave you the best of service. Regardless of what the world said, God, I did what you asked me to do. God, I fought against all of this whiskey, this beer, this alcohol, this wine that they're trying to bring into your nose, into the door of your church at the time that preaching is going on, at the time the communion is going on, at the time that the Lord's Supper is going on. God, I fought against that. God, I fought a good fight. God, thank you for watching over me. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for allowing me to still be here. It wasn't man, God. It wasn't man who woke me up this morning. It wasn't my alarm clock, God. You woke me up. So I'm not ashamed of the world. I'm not ashamed of anybody in this city. I'm not ashamed of anybody in America because you are the one who have blessed me and my family and others and other constituents. That's why we need to kill this ordinance tonight. I'm going to call this ordinance the whiskey bill. Kill it. The whiskey bill. Kill it. Got enough whiskey in this town anyway. You've got 250 feet from the church trying to bring the whiskey up in the church. Dead wrong. Have reverence. The church is a place of reverence. The church is where we go down to the altar of prayer and get on our knees and pray, dear God, our Heavenly Father. Bless us, Lord. Take care of us, Lord. Strengthen us, Lord. Lord, heal the sick. Heal the poor. That's where we go and pray. That's where we are taught Christian values. That's where we're taught religious values. That's where we go and hear the word taught. That's where the Bible study, the Sunday school is taught. That's where kids are. And we're not only talking about the church, but you got the child care facilities. You got the schools. You got the funeral homes. Now, when this roll call is taken tonight, and some of you may say I'm making a speech. I don't make speeches. I speak from the heart. Nobody write my check in here. I say what is right. I'm going to do what is right. I'm going to speak as to what is right. So when I leave this Board of Aldermen, one thing that everybody going to know, they may not have liked Alderman Perkins. They may not have liked the Vice Mayor, but they're going to reflect back on the day of remembrance. Even when some of you who outlive me and go to my funeral, one thing you're going to say when you get there, one thing when you say, some of you are going to outlive me, but when you get there, it's going to be on this tape. Mr. Also, that he'll be able to pull this tape back up. When you get there, you're going to say that the Vice Mayor gave the best of service. He believed in his Savior. He believed in his Lord. That's all I'm trying to do, and that's why I'm in this job, because I want to do what is right. Our Lord, our Savior, went to the cross, stayed in the grave all Friday night, all of Saturday night. But early on Sunday morning, early, not in the middle of the day, but I mean early on Sunday morning, my Savior, I'm not speaking about nobody else's, my Savior, he got up with all power because he so loved. There's nobody else I can say who so loved me. Because one thing about my Savior is John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And for these reasons, due to our God, due to his church being sacred, holy, sanctified, a place of reverence, a God who is worthy to be praised. I mean worthy. Whenever we need to petition, in prayer we go to God. That's why we go to church, because he is our Savior. And then here we are, want to bring this whiskey, beer, alcohol, and wine within 100 feet of God's house. That's too close. When people get ready to enter the front door, the side door, the rear door, they can smell all this whiskey aroma just flowing like a mighty stream. Getting all up in your nose trying to go up in God's house. Just all up in your nose, all in your hair, just everywhere. We need to keep this whiskey. Nothing wrong, people, about if you want to drink. I'm not against it. I'm not against drinking or stabbing, but keep it away from God's house, sanctuary, property, and place of worship. We should not encroach on God's church, his place of worship, his property, because that is completely disrespectful to God. If you never hear my voice again, these probably some of the strongest comments you're going to ever hear from the Vice Mayor for the rest of his terms on this board. These are probably some of the strongest comments you're going to ever hear before I leave this board. These comments, you hear what I'm saying, probably some of the strongest comments that you'll hear before I leave this board. because I'm speaking about my Savior. I'm speaking about my God. I'm not talking about anybody. This is not a personal with anybody. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just talking about my God. This is nothing personal, because however this vote comes out, it's going to pass in a few minutes. But I tell you one thing, when I leave here, I'm going to get on my knees at 620 Hospital Road in Starkville, Mississippi tonight, Mr. Fire Chief. I want to say, Lord, thank you. Lord, you've been mighty good to me. Mr. Police Chief, I'm going to say, God, you've been a good God. Lord, thank you for sparing me to see another day and another night. Lord, continue to bless me and my family in this great city. So once I have said all I'm going to say on this earth, and want to thank Miss Isaac, Miss Henderson, Mr. Van Everett, and all of you who have come out tonight and speak against this whiskey bill. I want to bring all this whiskey up near God's house 100 feet. And then we don't even need to amend the beer matter. There's no clerical error. Keep it at 5%. It's strong enough, 5%. You want to take it another 3%? Leave it like it is. We're not trying to become no Bourbon Street throughout the city of Starkville. Bourbon Street. This is a Christian community. This is a church community. I've had pastors who told me, said, Mr. Vice Mayor, will you please tell them tonight that we say, people look up to me. I go to church every Sunday. I'm in church. Pastors tell me, it's amazing the number of pastors who ask me to say something tonight. And I'm saying it not because they ask me, but because it is in my heart. There's a song say, it is in my heart. I'm feeling it now. Look, they want to sell whiskey, Miss Henderson, to 1 o'clock. We'll stay here to 1 o'clock tonight. See how it feels. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. We need to kill this whiskey bill. That's what we need to do. We need to keep this whiskey away from God's house, because it is not a healthy thing to do, and it is certainly not in the best interest, health, safety, and welfare on our 10th Amendment police powers. You know, we have the authority under Section 67-3-65 of the Mississippi Code of 1972 as amended to regulate hours and distances. Just because the state of Mississippi say we can lower it, that's why we have a board of aldermen and a mayor here. We make our own decision within the law. We don't have to lower that down to that statute. They say you can lower it to a minimum. There's no requirement we have to take the alcohol content to 8%. They say it's not to exceed. I read that for myself. I got my law degree from Mississippi College. Read it myself. I don't have to pay nobody for that. Read it myself. So we need to kill this. I'm taking my time. I'm gonna be through in a few minutes. I'm not in a hurry now, but I'm gonna let you know when I get finished, because I'm talking about my Savior. There's one thing y'all gonna know when I leave, and I know y'all gonna be glad when I do get off this board, but I'm not gonna leave until I get ready to go. And my constituents, Ms. Isaac, is gonna tell me when I need to. She's my support, and others in Ward 6. But we need to kill this bill. We got all kind of other ways for economic development. You can have economic development. We're not trying to cut out whiskey. We just say keep it at 250 feet. I'm not against any establishment that want to sell it. If you want to drink it, that's your personal business. I want to make sure that the media get this right tonight now. Mr. Kirkland, get this right now. And they want to criticize me in the newspaper talking about my religious belief. That's my opinion. They can write whatever they want to write. I don't report to no newspaper. I report to God. They can say whatever they want to say in the morning, put on TV. I don't care, because nobody's not going to compromise my views about God. They can put me on the editorial page with every picture they got tomorrow, talking about the separation between church and state. I'm going to turn. I know what the First Amendment says. I can say what I want to say. I got freedom of speech. That Constitution been around for a long time. First Amendment. I was a scholar in constitutional law. Nobody's going to suppress my rights. So we need to be mindful that this is a church community. We have a lot of churchgoers, a lot of church people who go to church with me, who go to other churches, a lot of pastors who are good friends of mine. I talk to a lot of pastors daily. I don't just reveal everything that I do not. I talk to a lot of church people daily, and they confide in me, and they do not want this alcohol coming to 100 feet of their community. And the only thing that the proponents are saying primarily economic development and business, but don't compromise the church. And in closing, you got to keep the church holy, the sanctuary. You know, we just, you know, I'm from a conservative era. I'm come from old school. You don't have all this stuff up in the church. Got enough going on now. You don't need to have the alcohol. It's competing too hard. Dr. Vaughn is competing too strong. You know, you're a church member. We can't have all that stuff. We can't have that near the church. God got to be respected. This world is trying to shut God out. It's trying to close God's mouth. That's why we have the prayer. We're going to say the prayer. We don't care, Mr. Attorney, what lawyers say we violate the law. We're ready to go to court because we got an attorney who's going to defend us saying the prayer. Nobody's going to shut us down because that's God. God is our Almighty and our Heavenly Father. Keep this alcohol. Ms. Isaac, thank you for your demonstration tonight. You're to be commended in all your efforts. Everybody who came in and spoke against this thing. So as the pastor said, if all hearts and minds clear on what I've said, make sure there's no misunderstanding. But at the end of the day, Mayor Spruill, I want everybody to know that even when I'm gone from this earth, when I'm gone from this board, I want everybody to know that I gave the best of service. I spoke up for God continuously. I spoke against these establishments going near God's house because God is nothing to play with, Chief Yarborough. God should be respected. We go to church without good old nice clothes on Sunday. I was suited and ties and all these beautiful apparels, and then we want to, you know, but let me keep it to myself. I'm going to make sure that I respect God. Mayor, for all those reasons, I'm going to ask the board to defeat this whiskey bill. We don't need to lower this distance from 150 from 250 feet to 100 feet. We don't need no extra hours. Like somebody said earlier, if you hadn't gotten by 12 o'clock, it's time to go home. And there's no mandate, Ms. Henderson, to increase the alcohol content to 8%. And you know, and I read in these some of these papers. I don't know which paper it was. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna yield the floor. I remember. I don't know what paper this was, Mr. Reporter over here. But I read one paper about what this preacher said, what that preacher said. I don't care what they say, but I'm gonna speak about what's right. Nobody's not gonna shake my opinion by no newspaper or TV station. We have too much trying to shape public opinion now. You can't persuade the vice mayor. Say whatever you want to say. I'm going to say what I'm going to say because I was elected to represent the people, and the people asked me to speak against this whiskey bill. Going to bring this stuff too close to the church. All this alcohol flowing all down the street like a mighty stream, just running. This smell, the aroma, all of the attire these people be wearing going into these clubs, these establishments, all this nightlife. Up near the church, up near God's house, up near God's sanctuary, up near the place we have communion on Sundays. That's wrong. So when we have this roll call vote, if I'm the only one by myself, God gonna know who I am. So I want y'all, all of you to know now, everybody at this table here, I want you to know nothing personal now. Nothing personal. I promise you, you're not going to hurt my feeling because as long as I have my relationship right with God, I'm not questioning nobody else now. I'm not, make sure you don't misunderstand me. I'm not questioning nobody's relationship. I'm just talking about the vice mayor. So I think it's incumbent upon me to express, Chief Yarborough, my goodness, but how good my God has been, how merciful he has been, because he's an on-time God. He's a provider. He's a healer. He's a deliverer. He's a protector. He's a company keeper. You know, he's my light, my salvation, my refuge, my strength. Because I can do all things, as Philippians 4:13 says, through Christ, who strengthens me. And that's where my focus is. Ms. Isaac, that's where my focus is. Mayor, I yield the floor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All right, thank you. All right, I'm going to take point of privilege and talk about the same thing, and I'm going to talk not only from my heart, but from my head. And one of the things that I think that needs to be understood, that from my perspective, this is not about alcohol. It's not about beer, it's not about wine, it's not about whiskey. This is about our ability to be a community that offers opportunities and options for others who are not necessarily of the same persuasion. This is about diversity. This is about inclusiveness. This is about our opportunity for social interaction among those who are not necessarily in agreement with everything we do. We have just passed a $7 million bond issue to bring industry into this community. And part of what this community is going to be, in order to succeed, is going to be a community that welcomes any number of different groups of people. Hopefully the people who come in here who have businesses that will go up in that community, up in that new industrial park off 389, will want to live here. They come and they look and they see opportunity here. The 250 feet is important to our downtown. And if I pulled up that picture again, you will see that downtown is our heartbeat. If our heart does not beat and does not have opportunity for places and things for people to do in the evenings past the time of 5 o'clock, then we are not going to have a heartbeat. This is the county seat. This is our downtown. This is where we have committed millions of dollars in this building and the police building. This is where development is going in North Montgomery and University Drive that is committing millions of dollars to this community. My vision for this community is obviously different than the vice mayor's. I do not think that they are necessarily totally incompatible in the sense that he wants progress as well. But progress to me means allowing that opportunity for diversity and for the sale of alcohol. Because my friends, I don't drink, I drink Diet Coke, but my friends drink wine. And when they want to go out and they want to have a meal, they want to go to a nice restaurant and they want to have a glass of wine. It is not an opportunity to get drunk, it's an opportunity to socialize. And one of the things we have found is that when we have students, and up to 21, you guys are not drinking, right? But between 21 and the time you graduate and you graduate and you begin to work here, and we want you to be working in our community, you need to have something to do. And not everybody goes to bed at 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, they just don't. I may, but the rest of you have an opportunity to do something other than go to bed, as early as the chickens go to bed. We want you to have the things that keep you in town when you've gotten your degree from us. We want you to be entrepreneurs. We want you to have a place and things to do in this community. And to me, our downtown has to be viable and vibrant. And that is a part of decreasing that distance. Now, there are churches in town, in particular the First Baptist Church has chosen to locate services right beside Rosie Babies. That was their choice. They didn't have to. There's a child care and there's a church right beside Rick's. They chose to be there. Rick's was already there. So there are not incompatible opportunities. They are not open at the same time. They are not fighting one another for parking. They work in conjunction, and it makes our community a well-rounded community that is open and receptive to everyone. And I think that is my goal. That is why I brought this up in the first place. That is one of the things that I said I wanted to do when I was running for election, which is to make our downtown a very vibrant, alive after 5 place where people want to be. I do not want it to shut down. I do not want it to be nothing but lawyers' offices and businesses, because that does nothing for us. That pushes everybody either down to the Cotton District. There is no other collective place for people to go. You've got a theater in this community. Hopefully you're going to have more restaurants, and hopefully this distance will decrease from 250 to 100. So I want to take full responsibility for bringing this up, but I am hopeful that this board sees that future for us as being more inclusive, and I'm hopeful that this vote will go that way. I have a motion and a second. Do I have further discussion? All right. All in favor of the motion as proposed by Alderman Walker? We'll go a roll call vote.
Roll call.
We will have a roll call vote. If the city clerk, as the city clerk calls out your name, please answer yea or nay.
Alderman Carver.
Nay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay.
Alderman Little.
Yay.
Alderman Walker.
Yay.
Alderman Miller.
Yay.
Alderman Perkins.
Nay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Nay.
By a vote of 4 to 3, the motion passes. Thank you all very much, and thank you all for your attendance. I know a good number of you were here for that particular item. Should we have, did everything else go? It is, okay, I'm sorry. All right, we have a motion to go into closed session to determine the need for executive session. So if everyone would kindly clear the room.
So move.